Stop by for the Nintenbyte. You got the Triforce and it feels right. Like Bowser, you can listen all night, singing peaches until the sun lights. Summer shoots her beam so bright. Master Hand always brings a fight. Catch 'em all and use that fire blast. Put the sword back to visit your past. Welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast. I was about to say season 2 because I'm so used to the Nintendo Prime podcast. But no, it's episode 24.
Hey.
It's a special show today. Game Junction should be here in a little bit. He's got some tech difficulties he's dealing with. We do have former co-host of the show here, Andres Restart.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Fake news. I hate you, apparently.
All right.
No.
You hate me?
No, because
right.
you left the show so suddenly.
Oh,
Without public warning.
yeah. It was news to me that apparently we hate each other.
Yeah, apparently we're just big beef.
Abhor each other, even though I feel like multiple times I'm like, hey, so I just gotta do my own thing. I got life things to deal with.
Yeah.
That's
We don't have to get
it.
to specifics, but yeah.
We're friends. We're still gonna do shows together. Just
We talk life. We talk Nintendo and video shit almost every day. We talk life. It is what it is, guys. He'll come on now once in a while, when it feels right for him. I'm going to send him the same invites I send to all my guests. It's a giant thing that says, here's all the dates. Do you want to come on sometime?
yeah.
And he'll just pick a day and come on. That is what it is.
Well, and when I feel like
And then that week he'll tell me, actually, I'm not coming on that week because I think he might regret today.
I definitely already regret today.
Because,
oh
guys,
my God.
we got to get the Thunderstash. We got to get to Eric. But I mean, look, the box is open. The hot chip's going down. First topic. I'm going to tell you right now. Like for topic roulette, I've already taken it. It's happening. I'm taking the hot chip one because there's not really much to say. I'll explain, what happened and why this is going down. But the hot chip has happened. Do you see Andres raising his hot chip up?
I don't think I'm gonna eat this.
Andres is
I did not make any bets, but I thought, you know what? Sounds like fun. And then I looked into it afterwards, and then Nate kept speaking ill of it, and then and now I'm
enjoy laughing at me. It's fine.
I'm feeling weak in the knees.
See, Eric was, we're joking about how they were both going to fake take the chip and then make me take it without them. Eric wants to do it, so I'm not worried about him. He's like, this challenge defeated me once. It will not defeat me again. Oh, man. Anyways, let's go ahead and introduce everyone else. We got Thunderstash here. How's it going, man?
Hey, it's going great. Very excited for tonight. I told Nate prior to that the first time I ever heard of the hot chip challenge was on the show months ago when you first made this bet. And I didn't know what it was because I'm old. I'm like, well, what is that? So of course I had to Google it. I saw what it was. I'm like, oh, this is interesting, but I didn't watch anybody do it because I'm like, hey, if this happens, I want to see it live and raw for the first time. So I'd have to say I'm like just as excited probably as you guys are in chat.
I'm just excited that I'm not doing this on a normal standard stream night because if I have to visit the porcelain throne, it would just be dead air.
Yeah.
And it might be 45 minutes of dead air.
Good point.
So I'm like, you know what? The podcast is good. It is our big, by the way, there's two reasons that I decided to do this on the podcast. One is so there's friends present. They can laugh at me. I pain, and that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with that.
Sure.
The other one is that it's also, if I want to maximize the exposure of my pain, this is the biggest stream we do every week. There's not a single live stream I do that's bigger than our podcast. Thank you guys so much for making the Nintenbyte podcast.
Yeah. I mean, we're already at 328.
Yeah, the biggest thing we do, and I know a lot of you guys are here just to see the pain. Mike Odyssey's in the chat just to see the pain.
Yes.
I think RGT said he might stop by at some point tonight just to see the pain. Lots of YouTubers are very happy that I am, taking this down today. So thank you guys for that. If you guys want to super chat in any questions or anything, we do Q&A towards the end of the show. You can go ahead and do that. I I guess Eric, what's up, man? You're here too.
You know, I'm here. Yeah, and that's another reason why you're doing it on the podcast because
because Eric wanted to do it too. So it's like, oh yeah, Eric was here yesterday, but all right, let's just.
That was for the beer chugging.
The beer chugging. Oh my God, 8 beers last night. Let's go ahead and get into the topic roulette part. Now, obviously, I took the hot chip challenge. One, it is what it is.
Pussy.
Yeah, I know. So I guess Thunderstash, why don't you go ahead and grab a topic here?
Let's go with the Echoes of Wisdom impressions. I'll take that.
Awesome.
Okay.
Let's see here. Eric.
I guess I'll do Nintendo Alarmo and Nintendo Switch Online playtest program. Unless Game Junction wants it when he comes in, then I'll just do what's most excited about Switch 2. Because
yeah. So we combined the Alarmo and the playtest thing together because those were both announced by Nintendo today, and we have lots of information on Alarmo. It's actually out.
Actually, you know what?
In New York,
I'll just take the one I'm most excited about Switch 2.
No, you don't have to say much. All right.
Exactly.
All right. Well, if Game Junction isn't here, then I will take the other one. Because I do know a few bits of information, but I made sure to inform Stash in case I can't physically speak.
Right.
So Stash may be taking both those topics.
What if it's just going to be a monologue by Steve?
Pretty much.
That's
we
fine.
all at least have a piece of the chip, and we're just unable to waste any words.
Yeah. See, look, I told you that people were showing up for the pain. Nintendo talks in the chat. He's here for the pain. Okay, I want to see just type 1 in the chat. Who's here for the pain?
Pull it.
Who's here for the pain? Just type 1s in the chat. Type 1s in the chat. I want to see just a wall of ones, man. A wall of ones. Who's here for the pain? Oh yeah, here it comes. Here it comes. Oh boy. Oh boy. Look at everyone. Eat the chip. Eat the chip. Oh man, yeah. I know that's why most of you guys are here for the chip. Hopefully you stay around for the conversation after, but I think you guys
what conversation?
The conversation that I'm just ain't gonna do it. So the conversation with him and Steve. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens, man.
We'll see what happens.
See how we react first.
I didn't make any bets. I just felt like joining you.
He's gonna wait for our reaction, and then I'm gonna try my damnedest to say stone face. Just stone face, like it's not even.
No, this is great. It tastes like spicy Dorito,
fried chicken.
Yeah,
and Game Junction's in
with maybe a little bit of extra buffalo dip.
Oh my gosh!
I heard bloop.
Game Junction, are you here?
Bloop.
Hey, do I sound better?
Hey, now I got someone to chat with when nobody else can talk.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, perfect. I think I got it figured out. A simple restart and then mess around with some stuff.
All right, well, welcome back, Game Junction. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
Your topic is the Nintendo Alarmo and the Switch Online playtest program.
Daggone it, that's the topic I wanted the least.
No, I mean
you can flip flop at Eric if you really want, but
no.
Woo.
Yeah, we actually have information. We have news today, guys.
Yeah,
Nintendo announced new hardware.
I know. I'm so excited. I pre-ordered it the minute it went up.
This is the chip.
Man.
I think people poll.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the graphics of it. You know, it's cheaper than we thought. You know, we talked about being $450, only $100.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, and it's kind of portable. So
I'll put a screen up.
I thought the screen would be bigger, right? We heard rumors of an 8-inch screen. It's only 2.8, but you know.
I can work with it.
I'll put a poll for it for all you guys watching right now. You here for the chip or you here for
I hope
the
we can sync our Pro controller to it too.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
All right, I gotta stop bullshitting around. I'm gonna take my last few sips of enjoyable beverage tonight because we gotta get to this hot chip. We gotta stop delaying it. I could keep delaying, I could keep pushing it, but look, guys, I'm not looking forward to this. The glove. Well, hold on.
Squeaky. No, it is a.
Are you opening it?
Pop open.
Are you is this already happening?
Oh yeah. So topic 1, guys. Hot chip challenge. I have to do it for sure. Eric still might not just decide to fake out and not do it, but he really wants to. Andres, he has the chip. I'm not going to say peer pressure is going to make him do it, but okay. Yeah. Look at that. 71%. For the chip. Oh God, you guys. Oh man. At least there's a few people here that are here for Alarmo, apparently.
I I hope your body's ready, man.
Dude, I got it. Took a bit. I got it. Oh boy.
My cat's looking at me like, "Don't do it, you'll die."
You're not gonna die. It just might not be a fun time. There it is. So my chip kind of broke, but I got 2 pieces.
I have
both
2 pieces.
I
can't open the wrapper. Oh no.
Oh no. Yeah, hold on. I gotta see your guys' reaction. I don't even have the right tab open. Now I gotta use my left hand for it. No.
I don't want to do this.
So there it is. I got mine waiting for Eric here. Struggling to get it open. Yeah. So I'll read how this works on this challenge here. So the one we have, because they don't make the original hot chip anymore, ever since a unfortunate teenager ended up dying. Who, by the way, you're not supposed to do this under 18, and he had an enlarged heart, which is a medical condition. You're not supposed to do this if you have a medical condition.
I smell it.
But this is the Red Hot Reaper Chip Challenge. How theirs works is you to do the challenge. How long can you last? 1 minute without consuming anything to help with the heat. 3 minutes makes you a
eyes already hurt.
5 minutes makes you a pro,
Yeah,
and 10 minutes makes you a legend. I have a feeling this is what's going to happen. If Andres even lets it touch his tongue, he'll probably bitch out and reach for a drink within like 10 seconds. I'll maybe make it to beginner.
Oh, he touched it. He touched it already.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, I did kind of. Oh man!
and then Eric. I didn't think I was going to get to enjoy laughing because I was going to be in pain.
I feel like I should have did this too. I feel left out. I considered grabbing it.
You know what? You can make a bet that you're going to lose next time. Be like,
all right, we'll do that.
Bro, being revealed the same day.
I barely nipped that. I barely nipped it, and that was explosive.
I do not feel left out at all, by the way.
Yeah, he'll probably have In-N-Out come later or some nice
zero interest.
I don't know how I can eat this whole chip. That was I just took on 0.00001% of the ferocity what this has to offer, and I feel like oh my god!
No, what time do we got?
Everyone.
I mean, I'm good. I don't need anything else. I don't have to drink anything from that, but I kind of want to.
Yeah, just a little bit. The lick, most people can do the lick and then not drink. Once you chew and swallow.
This is great content.
Grade A content. I don't know. Has there been any other Nintendo content creator that's done this?
There's no way I'm gonna eat this whole chip. That I can't fathom that.
20 seconds.
Actually, you know what?
I'm delaying.
No, yes. No, I'm gonna freaking go at the top of the minute here.
Oh, top of the minute?
Yeah.
I guess the only thing to do is to wash it down with more.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
It is kind of stale.
3, 2, 1.
Ooh, it's hitting me. Oh, you guys just put the whole thing in there. Oh my god. Ooh. This tastes really bad.
I bet it's delicious.
Mm-mm.
Oh man. That's a lot of body language there from Nate.
You just put the whole thing in there.
You guys are wild.
It's the only way to do it.
Oh man. What is even happening?
I'm drinking water.
Okay, so it's 6:35 right now,
Andres made it 45 seconds.
or 9:35 Eastern.
Oh, I forgot.
I always make a minute.
I forgot that he wanted to hold out.
There's a minute.
Okay, so it's between Eric and Nate now.
Oh god, it's not even a challenge.
I mean, I wasn't entering this contest.
No, I know.
My god, though. I'm in a lot of pain.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, it hurts a lot.
Oh shit.
I've heard it's actually legitimately very painful. I mean, if you don't tolerate, hot stuff very well,
No,
it's not.
I don't. I'm glad I didn't actually bet on this.
Yeah.
I love spicy food, but the older I get, the more heartburn I get. So I just don't mess around with that stuff.
Same. I just don't mess around with it
I love
anymore
Big
either.
Just yeah.
Anyway,
They enough
My
heartburn
Odyssey
stuff for
says
that.
water makes it worse.
It does.
Oh well, maybe that's why I'm in pain.
How's your day going? There's
So I
Thunder
got
Stash.
milk, I got the ice cream.
Anything dairy
That's good.
Yeah.
helps. Yeah,
That's
very
good.
helpful.
Staying busy. It was a busy
Yeah.
day.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
That's always good.
Got what, 3?
I went to my doctor appointment today.
How'd that go?
It went well. We just talk basketball every time. All we do is talk Phoenix Suns basketball, and it's literally like maybe 2% about my health. It's more or less just checking in, and we just talk hoops. We talk video games.
We have more people watching live right now than
Now,
we did when we had the
is
hard
that a
focus.
good or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing because the health is fine.
That's good.
Like we don't
Yeah.
need to talk about that. I see him twice a year.
Yeah, I got you. Well, that's good then.
So I can
Good.
get re-upped on my prescription.
My dude,
Right.
I only took a small piece, and yeah.
Ah!
10 seconds.
You guys are wild, man.
So I'm going to be at beginner level. I got to make at least pro is 5 minutes. Pro is 5 minutes.
All right, I'm gonna wash my hands before I touch
Eric,
my
bro,
eyes.
he's not even going to drink the whole goddamn time.
Just don't drink the whole podcast. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No.
It's
Robin,
a-
no. I'm actually.
Yeah, I told you Eric handles it better than me.
Game Junction. Did you start the DLC?
Eric's already on the porcelain throne.
No.
Yeah, I did actually. I just finished installing it on my PS5,
no.
but I started on the Switch. But yeah, so far so good. I mean, it's great. I assume that you played the
She's not even here.
Shattered Dimension DLC.
Dimensional Shell Shock. Yeah, I reviewed it, and
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was some amazing DLC. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. But I downloaded that DLC, the new Turtles DLC. I just haven't played it yet because obviously I was working on that Zelda review that I just put out today.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it so far so good. I like it.
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
I mean, performance isn't big from Switch to PS5, so I was kind of checking
Not
that
really.
out.
I got to go all the way to 10 then.
But yeah, codes got offered to everybody that was involved with the podcast, so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll check it out. I already wanted to anyway, so why not?
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool. There's just so many games and stuff to try to catch up to, like Silent Hill 2. I didn't grab that, but I grabbed.
I know. I got it right here.
But I'll tell you what I did grab. I grabbed the Silent Hill 2 exclusive thumbsticks because they're basically free.
Wait, what does it make? What makes that Silent Hill?
I don't. I really don't know. Hold on, let me see if I
Is
can
there a
get it.
design on there?
Yeah, but it's hard to tell. And like, if anybody looked at it, they wouldn't think Silent Hill necessarily. But yeah, no, it came with 3 of them, like bigger sizes. And the only reason I got that is because a deal that was going on at GameStop. If I spent, I think $15 more, I got $25 off. So I
I
got
feel like
those
we're
free.
just watching Nate die.
So I was like, why not? And they only got 2 of them in for some reason, 2 sets of those. And
eyes
of
are
course, I
watering.
just went and ripped them open and used them. So
Nice.
I thought about keeping
No,
them
I got it.
sealed, but I'm trying to avoid doing as much as the sealed stuff. But
Okay.
I'm assuming you're getting the Metaphor Collector's Edition, right?
No,
You're
I'm
not. Oh, okay.
I got the regular.
Well, that is one I'm going to open. I used to not open my collector's editions. I'm going to open it. Screw it. I'm opening it up, unboxing it day one. I want to check out all the goodies.
Yeah, good. I'll check out your unboxing video.
But
then.
I'm hyped for that. It's supposed to be coming Friday, so
Yeah, I'm super hyped for Metaphor. I've been talking about it all year since the beginning of the year. I felt like it was going to be a game that like flew under the radar.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it was flying under the radar.
But
And
not
then, of
now.
course, well, yeah, now the reviews are out. Everyone's like, oh shit, like 94 on Metacritic.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much to look forward to that with the Suikoden collection, and there's just so much JRPG stuff coming out that's just insane, man. There's another one, I think it's called what is it? Something Neo Dimension that I'm interested in too.
Yeah, it comes out in December. That is by the father of Final Fantasy.
Yes, that's the one. Okay, so yeah, we talked about that during a State of Play. So yeah, I'm really excited for that too, man. Like, there's just so much JRPG goodness coming out. I can't believe it.
Let me explain what I'm going through right now, guys. Okay,
let's hear it.
The mouth is absolutely dead right now. I can't. It's burning, and yet I can't. I have no sensation at the same time.
You're just laughing this off, Eric. This is crazy.
I burped, which then made it come back up the throat and then back down. So now my throat is killing me, and my stomach is starting to turn just a little bit. So I already know, like, that's just going to keep getting worse as the show goes on.
Oh man, it's not good.
Yeah, this is not good at all.
Chip challenge for starters. Guys are happy. You've been waiting for this pain with all those Switch 2 videos. By the way, I made a bet that it would be revealed in September, and I lost. So that's why we're doing this, or why I did the challenge. I don't know if I'll ever bet a hot chip again.
Hold on. Gotta do this.
Oh, you fucker. Deal with it.
Are you still going through it right now?
Yeah. Like the 5 stages
pretty much
of death
gone.
over
I
here.
feel like we should have did a special hot chip challenge podcast just so everybody can suffer the whole time.
You just feel excluded. You know what? Okay. Let's just get into our first actual topic, and we'll.
No, I'm good. I enjoy watching the suffering. It's all good. I promise.
You guys wait until I break. Is that what we're doing right now? We're not going to move on until I break.
Well,
You won't break.
You got just a little bit under 2 minutes. So.
Yeah, we're almost there.
We're almost
for
there.
10 minutes, right? Yeah, we're 2 minutes away. So let's just keep.
Hold on, I'm going to ask chat right now. Do we go first for the milk or the ice cream? Put a poll up. Is that for me?
That's a good question.
Do I?
Yeah, just don't die on us while we're live. That's all.
I'm not going to die. I have definitely done spicier than this. I just don't do spicy stuff like this often.
Whatever that was, the small little piece I took, that was the spiciest thing I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, that was death.
It wasn't close.
And him and I just both shoved it all
Bad
in.
idea.
Yeah.
Bad idea, Mike. Bad idea.
So we got both. I got this Cedar Crest frozen custard, dark chocolate with brownie chunk thing, and I got chocolate milk.
Just shove it down your mouth, bro.
Just all of it.
This one is not as bad as the other one was. Like,
No, now you say that. Now I have to. Now they're gonna feel like I didn't do the right shit, and I'm gonna have to order the stale 2-year-old original challenge.
It's bad.
I have to go to the black market for those.
No, you just said you already put it out there. So
I put it out there.
I've never done the other one.
I don't recommend it.
Well, they don't make them anymore. They discontinued
right.
it,
It's
so.
mainly just because of that.
I'm just scared that I'm gonna get like residue in my eye.
Again,
Because
it's
I
don't
like
do
touching
that.
my face.
but it's not as bad.
I
Are
still
you
have the
supposed
baggie
to
here.
wash your hands like right away?
I did, but I kind of want to get like a wipe and just wipe
I'm a
down
legend.
all of this.
I'm a legend. I think ice cream on the poll. Let me check. Ice cream on. Huh? Oh my god.
It's already gone.
Oh my god.
It's seriously gone. I don't
Oh my
feel
God.
anything anymore. I mean, I'll probably burp 20 minutes later and feel it again, but you know, it is what it is.
This is the greatest feeling in my mouth right now. It's still hot. Ice cream is helping so much.
Yep. Oh gosh, this is freaking great.
Um,
I suppose we could probably move into Thunderstash if you want to go ahead and jump into our topic.
You having an orgasm there, buddy?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
For a sec, man.
Oh, dude, I gotta wash my face.
fuck.
Okay, so these are the rules for the topic,
Sorry.
and I want everyone in chat to know this too. Okay, so again, we're gonna be talking about Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah.
I just reviewed the game. I put out my review a few hours ago on YouTube, and I want you all to know that it is a spoiler-free review. And I used footage primarily from the trailer,
Nice.
from like all of the trailers. So that way it's no new footage. And so I was very careful with that review. We're going to be very careful today because, I know how it is with Zelda. It's just something you don't mess around with. It's sacred to a lot of us.
Yep.
And so we're not going to speak past the halfway point of the game. Okay. And I really don't know how much detail we're even going to get into about specifics when it comes to, environments and whatnot, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So who would like to speak on this first? Who can speak on it first?
I mean, I can go. Why not?
Eric's gonna talk.
Why not?
Shut up! You're talking.
I'll come off of the hot chip challenge and just actually start talking here, just to prove that I'm not a little bitch like Nate is.
Do we have another chip? God damn it!
No. I am probably. I think it's. You got your tutorial. And then I'm 3 more riffs in, just past the next three riffs. It's a fun game. I like it a lot. There are times where it does get a little clunky when I'm trying to target something and it just randomly picks something else. It's like, no, that's not.
When you're trying to L target.
Yeah, that's not what I wanted. Please, why? Just no, come on. And then it just, and then you could be just facing barely to the left, and cast your echo, and it's like that's not where I wanted it. You're slightly off kilter, and it's not anywhere near where you think you wanted to put it. And it's like, come on. But I am having fun with it. It is a good game. There are some things that could be cleaned up with it, and I do hope they make a sequel to it. Or at least continue in the vein of Zelda having her own games.
Yeah, because ultimately, more Zelda's a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Brandon, where are you at in the game?
So I am about a little past halfway through. So I can't talk, a lot about end game stuff. I'll tell you what, I'm having an absolute blast with the game, and the decision I made was I was just going to take my time with it. I did the same with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and I did my reviews much later. So I was like, I'm just going to do that again. I'm just exploring everything, checking everything out, talking to all the people, kind of taking it all in. So it's just going to be a later review for me. I'm just taking it at my own pace and just kind of enjoying it. But I love it. I love playing as Zelda. It's different. It definitely plays a lot different. Obviously, I don't think it's a spoiler. Well, maybe it is. But
what is it? What are we talking about?
I mean, being limited with being able to use the sword and stuff. As Link.
No.
Yeah. So I'm loving it. I think it's great. It does have performance issues. And so did Link's Awakening, which is kind of unfortunate. And in my opinion, I don't think they're going to patch it because they never did for Link's Awakening. They just ignored it and moved on. Which, like I said, if that wasn't there, the game would probably be like a 9.5 for me. I think I'm setting it probably like an 8.5, 9. I enjoy it a lot. But the performance issues are very apparent, especially in the overworld. The dungeons, not so much. But all the different echoes and all the things that you find and the crazy things that you can do with them, kind of takes me back to Tears of the Kingdom, because you just kind of do your own thing. There's 50 ways you can solve a puzzle, and I love that. I think it's great. And creativity comes out of that, and you might do it a way that somebody that made a guide did it completely different, and you just had no idea. Oh, I could have just did that. I took the hard way around, but it was fun, like learning that hard way around. So, I love it. I think it's great, and I'll have a full review coming out, hopefully sooner than later. I'm not looking to extend it far, but I just want to take the game in fully, enjoy it, and get just get a lot of time with it so I can speak with it and do a long, in-depth review.
Cool, man. Yeah. A lot of your feedback I've heard throughout the internet. I've heard it echoed, you could say, throughout the internet.
Yeah.
Performance issues. Yeah. It's been spoken about for sure. I saw some hiccups. It doesn't run at a smooth 60. It definitely dips, but I didn't think that the performance dipping really broke my immersion or negatively affected the gameplay. Like I never felt like because the frame rate dipped, I was gonna die or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is good. And of course, growing up playing regular Nintendo, man, we're no strangers. We're no strangers to slowdown.
Yeah,
that's part of the game.
Yeah.
All right. So, Andres or Nate, who's in better shape to speak right now?
I mean, I'm fine. I had a small piece.
There we go.
That's it. I'm good. My concern is just because I have a habit of touching my eyes, and so I was really worried that I was going to get some of the spice in my eyes.
That would have been extremely.
Not good.
And then also my cat snooping around. I don't want her to get any residue either. So I kind of wipe some things down. But I'm good. Anyway, as for the game,
nothing happened.
Fair enough.
I think the game is terrible. Like it's such a massive, huge disappointment.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, you're lying.
I don't believe me either. Game's good. I like it. But I actually, I agree with you, Steve. Like the frame rate, like I notice, but I don't really. The performance of the game doesn't seem. Like whatever impact it has, like it's not. It's like if I were reviewing the game and I were going to assign a score, I don't feel like the number would be impacted by the frame rate, if that makes any sense. Maybe that's fair. Maybe it's because because for some people it's a bigger deal than others, right? And I also think that and I've seen a few different frame rate tests, so I'm a little unsure of how exactly it goes, but from what I've seen, when you are moving around a lot in the overworld, right? The frame rate does drop, right? But once it's dropped, it kind of stays at 30. And so if you're just in constant movement, it stays at 30, and then when you stop, it goes back up to 60. So I don't like it's. I guess what I'm trying to say is that like maybe it's just the way I play the game that I don't cause like the fluctuation as much because I'm either moving a lot or I'm not, right? And so maybe that's why it doesn't bother me as much. But but that said, it's not like it is very much apparent, right? I do think it is an issue, right? I don't think that these kinds of performance issues should be something we see from the Zelda team. Well, it's technically not the Zelda team; it's Grezzo, but the Zelda team did have a hand in the project. Grezzo has made multiple Zelda projects. It is a Nintendo published game. I don't think that it should fit the brand image of Nintendo. Like I do think that this is not okay. But at the same time, I still think the game is good. I don't think it impacts with the score that much, but I do hope that moving forward on Switch 2, yes, I want 60 FPS games across the board.
Yeah.
But locked 60, right?
Yeah.
So, like we've heard about that Breath of the Wild 4K tech demo, right? At 60 FPS with no load times. Like I almost want to see that come to market, even though part of me doesn't want it. Like just so to help cement the idea that 60 FPS Zelda is a thing. Because if they put out an open air version of Zelda that's running at 60 and it's locked, that's going to be huge, right? But anyways, beyond that, right? Like just like the actual game itself, I'm enjoying. I'm not done with it yet. I'm also taking my time with it, like you, Game Junction. There's a few videos I want to make on it, but I'm kind of like I don't want to rush and blitz through. I want to enjoy it naturally, right? And so it's kind of like this tug of war of like, oh, but I need it to make content, but at the same time, like, but
yeah, I watched your video on that. I'm like, I understand what you're saying. It is a tug of war.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely struggle with that with Tears of the Kingdom. I still enjoyed Tears of the Kingdom, but if it wasn't up for YouTube, I probably would have taken more time before getting to the final boss. Granted, my final boss, I have a live stream where I beat Tears of the Kingdom, and it was epic. I don't regret it, but this time around, I'm just trying to be a little bit more cautious. It's also a smaller game, right? Like it's a different beast. But I enjoy the side quests. There's some really cool, unique side quests. I like the variety in the overworld. The freedom is there. I will tell you that it's not enough freedom for me in terms of what I want for like open air Zelda, right? Like some people have talked about like this is the perfect balance for Zelda. And I think it is for 2D Zelda. Yeah. 2D top-down Zelda.
I agree.
But I think with the next open air Zelda, if the kind of limitations we have with this game, I would not like. I immediately found the barriers to the map, and there is like a vertical limit that's not that high in a lot of places.
Yep.
So there are a lot of little things like that I'm like, well, I don't like invisible walls. I don't like seeing invisible walls, and there's still plenty of that in Echoes of Wisdom. Much less than any other prior 2D top-down Zelda game, so I do appreciate it. I think it works for what it is. That said, I don't want it to be like misconstrued. I am very happy that they brought back the boss key. I'm very happy that they have not forgotten like prior, dungeon styles, and they're finding a way to incorporate those elements. And I think in that regard, that's a great sign for the future of Zelda, not just for 2D but 3D overall. It's like I'm just happy with like the overall direction from that perspective. I think the characters are very charming. I do agree with the complaint about the echoes, how that's a certain point there's just too many, and it's kind of annoying to navigate and find the one you need. I really it's also kind of a head scratcher to me. Like the same thing with the frame rate. Like this is like how can it was surprising that they had this issue in Tears of the Kingdom. I think it's worse in Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how they can still be on this. Like, have they not realized that people don't like this? I don't know. Like it's also one of those things where like, does it take away from my experience dramatically? No.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. I think in the case of how the navigation of the echoes, I would say that this issue would, for me, I would dock at least half a point for it.
Yeah, and you mean like just the echoes in general, like as far as
the echoes are awesome. I just mean the navigation.
So aiming, like aiming when you're actually trying to aim the echo, and then the actual navigating of the menu.
Oh, that's a whole
both of those.
Because Brandon,
I meant menu navigation.
Okay, so your menu navigation, Brandon, you're talking about actually targeting the echoes and lining it up on the map
too, though. Because there are times when trying to lock onto a specific thing and it keeps on locking to everything but that, and like it would have been nice if like you could at least steer it a little bit, like with the camera, or just like one of the control sticks.
Yeah,
that would have been nice.
What I noticed is if you keep pressing L, like if you press it once and then stop and then press it again, it'll go back to the same one. But if you continuously press it, it will change each target and like go into a rotating circle. So that helps, but yeah, it's not ideal. I get that for sure. And I gotta say that just from the start of playing it, right, guys, and seeing the performance, some of the dips, again, it didn't bother me. I'm aware of it, and I know it does bother some people more than others. But seeing the performance and then seeing the menu, the Echoes menu, once you start to load up on Echoes, two things immediately came to mind. And that was, I really wonder if this game was made for Switch 2 in mind. because I still believe that Switch 2 was originally supposed to come out this year. And so immediately I think, okay, well, maybe it was made for Switch 2, or maybe it was made for Switch 1 with a Switch 2 boost in mind.
That's the only thing I would believe. I actually think that they had intent probably pretty well far in advance that this would be a late Switch 1 title. Maybe, but to your point, maybe there was a hope that they could have like a better version for Switch 2, I guess. But I mean, I don't think it was like, the fact of the matter is, I think no matter if Switch 2 was coming out this year or let's say even last year, like Echoes of Wisdom was gonna sell more on Switch 1.
No doubt. Of course.
Yeah.
It's got the install base.
So I think that version needed to be like, yeah, as good as it can be. And I mean, I think we got as good as it, like, this is it. You know, I don't think there was ever any intent to make it any better.
Yeah, and again, like Brandon said, probably not expecting a patch. I'm not expecting a patch to fix this again, because this is how Link's Awakening was, and this is more
It's the game. Yeah.
This is more intensive too.
Yeah.
I think this is a much more intensive game with the echoes and the amount of echoes.
Oh, the
that can
tech
be
is
on
definitely
screen.
better. Like, there's a lot more going on with this game. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I mentioned the freedom earlier. Like, that is something that's really cool about this game, though. Like, being able to run the canopies of trees or scale mountains, like, that's awesome. I love that you can do that stuff. I love that you have all the extra level of camera control as well. You can shift to like a bird's eye view, or you can continue.
Yeah.
to
I use that a lot.
Constantly for me. It's constant for me.
Yeah, it was really nice. The other reason I was going to mention, and again, obviously this is it's all strictly rumor, right? We don't know. But man, if the new controller, the new Switch has a scroll wheel, my God, would it have been perfect for those echoes?
I had that thought too.
For that horizontal scroll wheel, I'm like, this just seems like a weird setup to, hold the button down and then literally scroll through all of these echoes. And it's just like, did you guys have something else in mind or what? Because I don't know. It feels like I say it feels like that could have been done better.
Sure.
But I'm not saying that, and I didn't say it in my review because I don't have a better answer. You know, I'm not going to complain about something if I can't give a better answer, a solution, right?
Nate's looking at the box. He wants his money back. It wasn't spicy enough.
No. They have a thing where I have to put it on social media and hashtag them and then challenge someone. So,
oh God,
we'll see.
Don't challenge me.
Yeah, I know you have it, man. You're an easy one. No,
yeah.
I can talk if people want.
Hold on. I know Nate had said Thunderstash that one way to kind of fix that too would be to kind of group the echoes by like type of monster or type of enemy. So like you have all of your like bokoblins or whatever, in as like you go over to one and then you can go up and down to select the different types of them or things like that. I think that would make it a lot cleaner too.
Yeah. I want to shout out Phantom D8 in the chat. Phantom D8 says, "Hey, Dev here. A scroll wheel has more possibilities than you all realize." And I kind of I think we all jumped to the a scroll wheel for menu navigation because that's what Sakurai highlighted.
Easy to understand.
It's very easy to understand in that regard, like just left and right. But like we were just complaining about the camera. Like imagine if the scroll wheel could be used for like changing not the camera, but the targeting, like shifting that around. Like that could have been. Well, that's just one other like thing they could have done with it.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm about halfway through Echoes of Wisdom based on what I looked up just to see kind of how much was left to do. And there's still quite a bit left to do, especially when you do all the side stuff. But because I'm slow playing it, I always knew I was going to slow play it. I don't really do game reviews on my channel. This kind of is the review right here, this discussion we're having. So, so obviously I can't come to any final verdicts on the story and any of that stuff, but I am enjoying the story so far. It's Zelda. Zelda doesn't always have like the most in-depth story. Sometimes us Zelda fans try to add a lot of depth that isn't necessarily always there, but that's okay. We enjoy our lore, and it definitely has some interesting stuff in there for the lore, and I'm sure a month from now, all the Zelda theory channels are going to just start crapping out some pretty interesting theories just based on stuff that's already happened so far.
You think it's gonna take them a month?
I think they're being respectful. I think they're already working on them, but they're being respectful of. Remember, it's a delicate with Zelda fans. You got to give them time to beat the game before they want to watch the video.
I want to think that too.
I'll give you an example. Austin John Plays has been getting a lot of shit because he's been making the guides, and the guides have spoilers in the thumbnails because the guide's about what's in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
People are getting really mad at him. But here's the thing. He's doing it because now when you look up guides for those specific things, he's the #1 search result. It's evergreen content. So like it's kind of one of those like devil's advocate, like you have to do it that way if you want to be the thing that's evergreen, but you're also going to piss off people who just don't follow the guy and don't look up his content. I can still be fine, but
I think there'd be a way to do it where you could not put that type of thing in the thumbnail, and then after let's say 6 months, then just update the thumbnail and then you can put it in.
YouTube.
I know YouTube's a fickle creature. I realize that.
Yeah, you got to hit on that right away if you want to be the top rank.
The other thing is like if you're creating tutorial tip content, right? That kind of content isn't necessarily going to find most of its value through recommendations, but rather people searching for help.
Yeah.
And so if they're searching for help, then they need to find something that's very clear and obvious for what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So if you make like something very obscure looking, it takes away from the purpose of like it needs to be very obvious what you're looking for. If like the whole purpose of the video is to appeal to people who need help for something, they're not going to find it if you make something obscure looking and vague.
Yeah.
So it is like a catch-22. Like what do you do? Like do you avoid spoilers or do you provide help?
And the thing is, he's had this happen before. He makes guide content, guys. He doesn't just make guide content, but Austin John Plays makes a lot of guide content. That's just like the other side of the sword, because you might go, well, how come websites don't get in trouble for it? Well, because you only find it if you're looking for it. And the problem is when you make guide content, then make other content, people might subscribe for your other content, then see your guide content they didn't want.
Maybe what could be done is maybe YouTube could like integrate a feature of a spoiler tab. So if your video has some level of spoiler, you put it there.
I got a lot of suggestions for YouTube. Like they should when we have categories. Like I said this in my live stream last night. I think when you put a video in a category, that category should appear under the title of the video. So if you categorize it as news or a discussion or a rumor, it could just be there as a tag right underneath, and not like the hashtags that are for searches, but like an actual like colored, category thing. But again, there's a lot of things we can talk about YouTube. Bad tackles of wisdom, though. So I don't have a ton of complaints about this game. The frame rate's one of the big ones for me because it is noticeable. I know some people don't notice it. Some people are just whatever. And if I was a kid, I probably wouldn't notice it either. But I'm an adult. I've played some really smooth games. And once you've played super smooth stuff, it becomes more and more obvious that, okay, yeah, I hit a button here and I had to hit it like 3 times for it to do what I want because it didn't register because, the frame rate dropped. And it kind of cut off that communication. But some interesting stuff with this one. I don't have a problem with the targeting system because I just don't use it.
Yeah.
I don't like top-down Zelda's never had Z or L targeting before. So yeah, they put it in this game. And I literally I never even think to use it. So if you never think to use it, then you got to worry about it. Then it's just all about how do you angle your character to shoot your thing. Mm-hmm. And that's what I do. And works perfectly fine because that's how top-down Zelda's always been for me. So maybe there's some issues with the L targeting. Don't know because I don't think we need it. I think it's a modern feature put in maybe to try to help with the echoes, but sometimes I think that stuff can be a detriment. And for everything I heard you guys talking about, it kind of feels like L targeting might be a bit detrimental, and maybe I'm playing it in a way that I'm just avoiding those issues because I'm not relying on it.
I'm playing in hero mode.
You're playing hero mode? Cool. Yeah.
I did too. It's just
so like I feel like we should talk about hero mode because I think it changes the game. That's actually a compliment. Nate, I'm not sure how much I'm cutting you off by, but like hero mode is just kind of like it's actually like pretty challenging. I have died maybe 50 times, and sometimes it's kind of frustrating because like there will be enemies that just one shot me, and I don't know what it is, but with 2D Zelda, you don't have especially because Zelda doesn't have a shield, right? Link does. Like you don't have as many defensive options. And sometimes you're like, oh, I got to spin away, but you're in a corner and there's fire and you don't have anywhere to spin to. And then the lance just comes and strikes you, or those stupid Octoroks just shoot you from a mile away. You don't even see it because it's off screen and then you're dead. And then it happens again.
You guys know what I've been doing, or what I did? I was using like the statues or a metal object, and I just bind it and I use that as a shield.
Nice.
And it blocks the fire, blocks anything actually. Even when you're, again, I don't want to get into spoilers, but even when you're in boss fights, you can use that as a pseudo shield. But again, when it comes to like the gameplay elements, that's what's so cool about this game is that everybody's going to play it differently, right? Nate, you're not using targeting much. I don't know that I use targeting much. It didn't bother me.
I brought up hero mode.
Nothing in the game bothered me.
You need to target more in hero mode. Like if there's a threat, you want to target that threat and eliminate it. Yeah,
because they're more serious. The threats are obviously more serious. They're more damaging.
Or like I want to target something to bind it and then knock it off a cliff really easy because it's way easier to just throw something off a cliff than it is to hit it 12 times.
Yeah. I did that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is definitely an OP move.
Yeah, but you don't get any of the drops if you do that though. So that's a little bit of a balancing act there.
I will say, like by the time I got to the end of the game, again, I won't go into any spoilers, but by the time I got to the end, I did have, of course, I 100%ed it as well. So all the items that I bought them not necessarily because I felt like I needed all of them, but because I want to fill out all the items, and I did all the upgrades that people will see once they get deeper into the game. And then, of course, made all the smoothie recipes, which is a lot. but I still had, a lot of money, a lot of rupees left over, I guess you could say, even with throwing people off the cliff. Because, that was a super OP move. So for anyone like playing hero mode, that's a great way to get rid of enemies pretty quickly. I would like to ask, obviously there's a lot of different categories. We've never really done like a group discussion, on the podcast about a game, kind of giving our own like review thoughts. And so we talked a little bit about the performance, a little bit about the gameplay. What'd you guys think of the music? Because music's such a big part, of course, of Zelda games.
I enjoyed it, but I don't think it was up there with even probably my top 5 Zelda soundtracks. But I thought it was good. I thought it was still really good.
Do you feel like it felt like Zelda?
Not as much as most other games do. It was a little different. I can't pinpoint what it was exactly, but it kind of just didn't fit the game. At least it felt like that to me. So I remember even playing with the sound off for a while, like while listening to a podcast or whatever, because it wasn't immersing me in the experience as much as other Zeldas where I got to take in that soundtrack. They're so good. But I don't think it was bad either. So
But you've only heard so much of the soundtrack, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm a little past halfway through the game. So what I've heard, it's been fine.
There are some tracks later, I think, in the game. Andres, you're pretty damn close to finishing it, so you know what I'm talking about. But
yeah, there's one point where there's a clear shift in the game, like it opens up a little bit more. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And when it opens up, like the overworld theme, there's a different overworld. Like there's a few overworld themes, but there's one that starts playing more often.
Yep.
And that's I kind of feel like it's pretty fire.
It is fire, dude. Totally. I love it.
Yeah.
It was stuck in my head.
Now the thing is, out of context, right? If I were to play this song, if I like, yo, check out this Fire Zelda song, and I play it to you, and you're like, oh, that you think that's fire? Okay, like it's good. I really enjoy it, but I do think there's a little bit of we have to think about the overall like atmosphere and artistic direction for this particular game and how it matches, right? Because the music for this game is meant to kind of match it, right? This is a more cutesy, chibi style Princess Zelda led Zelda game, right? So with that in mind, like, you know, we're not necessarily getting as many like really ultra creepy, dark, gothic kind of things like say like Twilight Princess, right? So we don't have as much of stuff like that, and I think some people might want more things like that, and I get it, right? Like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, they had things like that, but there is also like I mentioned that overworld theme, right? But like Soothorn Village, like I just let that on the other night. My cat was on my lap, and I was just like, it was just like a very like peaceful, chill, relaxing song, right? Like, and so there's things there. And there are moments, you know, like as you progress, there are moments where you hear certain tunes. Like I think it's good. But to Game Junction's point, is this like a top 5 Zelda game in terms of music? That's a high bar.
That's the thing. Is a very high bar.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll go. There's a lot of Zelda games at this point. It's tough, but I also don't want to say it's bad. Like I don't think it's bad. I mean, also like maybe this is me. It's not just me, but you know, more people like 3D Zelda than 2D Zelda. Like just sales wise, that's a fact, right?
Yep.
And I do like it. Kind of goes back to my other point about just like the overall artistic theme of this game. Like I think that some people want to hear a certain type of Zelda music, and there's just not as much of that in this.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's what they're looking for, and they're just not going to get it. Not as much, at least. There are things like that, but they're like maybe a little bit more like lighthearted.
Yeah, there's like musical notes. Yeah, I talked about it a little bit in my review, but musical notes in some of the songs that it's a few notes, and if you know, like it's a callback to other songs, which I didn't go in detail about, and I won't here today because, you know, again, that's for everyone to experience themselves and, you know, see if you can pick that up and for you to enjoy. But yeah, as far as top 5 music, look, yeah, the competition is great, right? I can't say I've ever played a Zelda game that didn't have an amazing soundtrack. To me personally, I think they all have great soundtracks. Even going back to, of course, the original NES title, that's the overworld theme that has made its way into every Zelda game. Link's Adventure, right? The town theme is fire, in my opinion. Absolutely love the town theme. But you can go on and on. You look at Link to the Past, that's just got so many great tracks, and Ocarina of Time, so on and so forth. It just gets better and better. I feel like what you had said, Andres, that if people are going into it like hoping to hear that classic music from Zelda, and you know, maybe they're being let down because that's what their expectations are going into it, then yeah, maybe they won't like the music as much. But to me, you know, I think they were going for something that paid respect and homage in a very lighthearted way to the Zelda franchise, but wanted it to be its own unique thing, which to me is a good thing, because that makes me hope and think that there's more plans than just this. And there should be, right? Because it was a fantastic game. So, you know, you got to create your own identity, right? But the identity of this game and the music, it borrowed just ever so slightly from Zelda. And again, it was only a handful of tracks, but to me, this was completely unique. And like you said, the overworld theme, later in the game is so good, like so good. And there's just other tracks, and I don't want to say the locations. And some of the locations are optional. And maybe it's just because like I recently just played through Zelda 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and then Link to the Past, that the music's like super fresh in my head of going through the entire game. And I heard some of those tracks in some of the optional areas, which Andres, you probably know what I'm talking about with that. But man, it was good. Like I got to give it up to it. I think this soundtrack was pretty damn good.
This is I don't remember exactly how it sounded, so maybe it's not that good, but maybe it was just more speaking to just the ambience. But I like the snow area and just the overall feeling I had exploring the snow area. It was very cool.
Yeah, the music was very, very calming, very chill, like in a good way.
Yeah, chill.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, right. I didn't even try that, but it was like very good. And Nate, what do you think about the soundtrack?
I love it. I haven't even hit the point, where the overall theme changes. I had heard about it, but I've been avoiding listening to it because I've seen the whole soundtrack on YouTube already. Okay. I think all the music really fits the game. Like when I judge music, the problem with Zelda is it's gone through a lot of transitions over time. In the early days of Zelda, which is just the early days of gaming, you really relied on dropping bangers that just stick in your head. They might not always make sense for what you're doing, but it sticks in your head. Like, why do I like the DuckTales Moon theme? If the song makes no sense for that level,
but it's the absolute best.
It's such a banger.
Mm-hmm.
Like and like that's the way like Zelda music started too. Like, oh yeah, it has an adventure feel, but man, you're listening because it's a banger. You go all the way up through Ocarina of Time, like it's just bangers and bangers that just stick in your head. But it could have been different music. It didn't have to be music for that zone. That music would have stuck no matter where they played it. So we've gone from that all the way up to the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom era, where they kind of decided music is now just going to be sort of fading away, and we're going to focus more on you enjoying the world, because the world is interesting enough on its own. The sound of nature, the sound of the enemies, the sound of combat, that we don't need to rely on these epic sweeping tracks that just stick in your head and honestly make it so you're not listening to anything else in the game. I argue the games starting with Breath of the Wild became a bit more atmospheric because they didn't let the music dominate the atmosphere. And I know a lot of you guys out there love when the music dominates it and it's this banger and it brings back a lot of nostalgia and memories, and I get it. But also it means I'm not really engrossing myself in the world. I'm engrossing myself in a song.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm more engrossed in an adventure when the song isn't what's dominating. Like I even think like when I'm playing Skyrim, the music wasn't like overpowering. They let you enjoy and get into the world. And Zelda's been doing that since Breath of the Wild. So Echoes of Wisdom's music, it's a bit more going back to having, louder music playing everywhere you go, a bit more in your face, but still, I feel like it kind of balances between what Zelda used to be and what it is today, which I feel like just kind of describes the whole damn game. But I think all the music I've listened to so far has been highly appropriate. Really good, really enjoyable. I don't find myself wanting to mute the game because I just don't like it. Yeah. And while I don't, know if it's going to ever reach the heights of when Zelda games are all about just blasting these nonstop things you can't get out of your head, I think it's maybe the most fitting music that I've heard in Zelda for a long time. Because you can argue like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom maybe needed a bit more here and there. Like there's special moments. Yeah, like the Colgera theme during the fight and stuff like that. Like there's certain moments that they absolutely nail, but there's other times it's like it could be music could be a little stronger here. It doesn't have to be overpowering. And so for me, I think they kind of nailed the balance with this game with the music. And so while I'm not going to sit here and just like, oh, that's a track and that's a track, but I'm going to tell you what, when I'm done playing the game, the whole soundtrack's going on my playlist. and I'm gonna remember everywhere I was in the game when that music played, and that's all that matters. Like it doesn't have to be a song that I'm just sitting there going da 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 da. Like I don't have to do that.
Yeah,
Really.
You also still get a sense for the environmental sounds as well. Like it's not like the background music overpowers the environmental music. It just merged.
It's like a balance between like what Breath of the Wild the Kingdom did, and then what the old Zelda's when it used to just dominate.
Yeah.
So, then
I kind of want that moving forward. Actually, I mean, you pick and choose depending what makes more sense for the situation
and the situation and the environment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so I mean that to me just kind of works for like the whole game being described that way. It's kind of like they were trying to find a way to be not too much Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild, but then not going all the way back to what Zelda used to be, and they kind of found like this middle ground. And that's one of my favorite things about the game. As much as I love Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild, is like but there's a lot of like how are you going to please traditionalists, because they've been really upset with the way the series is going, and this has that open world freedom and your ability to climb on trees and go everywhere and do whatever you want, solve things in a billion different ways. But that's kind of what I like about this game is you can solve things in a billion different ways, and despite that, it still feels very traditional. Yeah, and that is something that they have struggled with, I would say, especially with dungeon designs in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They've really struggled with that balance of, yes, solve it in any way you want, but also still kind of feel like you're crawling through a dungeon and just not cheesing your way through it. And don't get me wrong, there are things you can do in Echoes of Wisdom to cheese, of course. I mean, you can do that. It's kind of like in any game, just like an Ocarina of Time, you can kind of like wall grab and kind of sidle down and go to dungeons when you're not supposed to go to them. Yeah. But yeah, so I look, the music to me is honestly, I couldn't ask for it to be any better. I think this is exactly what this game needed. Is it going to be in my top 5? Like, I don't think anything tops any of the 3D games from the top-down perspective. Link to the Past, it comes close. There's a couple of songs in Zelda 2. Obviously, the OG song from the original Legend of Zelda. But in terms of overall soundtrack, I mean, you're talking fully orchestrated tracks.
Yep.
That like just hit classics, memories like Majora's Mask music and Ocarina of Times, and the Wind Waker soundtrack is just banger after banger the entire time through. Skyward Sword,
Great Sea, so good.
Yeah, Skyward Sword music's amazing, and then even like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, sure, maybe some of those more subtle ones aren't, but they have each of those games have like 5 to 8 really just amazing tracks in the game when you actually experience them and the moments they put those tracks in. Yep. So for me, this ranks like below all the 3D ones, but above a lot of the top-down ones, because I feel like the biggest thing I love about this music is it feels original.
It does.
A lot of the top-down Zeldas, I feel like we're relying on prior games' music and kind of remixing it a lot.
We do. Yeah, we do. That's definitely how it's been. I'm with you guys on that. I really, as far as the 3D titles, I think the music's a lot better. But again, it's all perspective because they're all great.
And also bigger budget titles that are using full orchestras now and stuff. So
yeah, I will say though that I loved the new gameplay elements, right, that they brought into it. Like to me, like this game definitely belongs. It's a Zelda game, 100%. And I think that's impressive that they were able to do that, considering the gameplay elements completely changed, right? I mean, there's sword combat, but I will say that I used it like very sparingly.
Yeah.
Because I'm using all the echoes and I'm figuring out different strategies with them and, using my brain, and it's fun. I'm not just trying to brawl through it. And I got to say that to me, I think this was the most puzzle heavy Zelda, 2D Zelda of any of them. This had the most puzzles. And
they had a lot of puzzles.
We get more as it goes along, but so many of the rooms in the dungeon, in the dungeons, require solving puzzles and thinking things through and thinking like, okay, what echo do I use here to do this or to do that? There was a lot of that.
What was the toughest dungeon for you?
The toughest one?
Toughest.
Well, without going past the middle, probably the one that
I mean, people know there's a fire forest,
okay, I would
like
say
stuff,
Farron.
right?
Probably the Farron.
I agree.
Yeah. I did that one last too. I don't know if you did, but
Second to last
yeah, I
from
did.
the ones I've done, which is
I-
7 of them.
Okay. Yeah, I did the fire, ice, and then Farron. So yeah, I thought that one had definitely had some head scratchers.
So for me, what got me is that they have a lot of those. Maybe I don't think I'm misremembering, but correct me if I'm wrong. But the forest one had a lot of those puzzles where they had 2 different platforms.
Yeah.
That land on at the same time. And I
Yeah,
was like,
dude.
how the hell do I do this? And I figured out a few different ways to do it, but
Yeah.
it was a head scratcher for a little while.
Same here. No, same here.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about, is that there was puzzles like that you never feel like it's like a cheap
and then
puzzle or
there was
something.
also the bounce things. I was like, oh, that got me stuck for a little bit too.
Oh yeah, then the side side scrolling portion.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Same here. There's one specifically,
Yeah.
like towards the ladder, that I was just like, yeah, literally like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, do I need to get up and walk away for a second?
By the way, when you said ladder, I know you meant like the ladder with a T, but it's also ladder with a T. It's both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's
I'm a
okay.
little distracted right now because I had a brain blast earlier on something. I'm not even sure I should say it, but
A brain blast. Is it Zelda related?
no, it's not. It's not Zelda related.
Is it Switch too?
Is it related to any of our topics tonight?
Yes.
Okay, well then we should probably get moving out. We would already talk about this for like 45 minutes, so
Yeah, I could talk
like this.
forever.
Let's end like this. Like, just given like a number, we can go around and just be like, so far, what do we think out of 10? So I mean, Steve should be the easiest one. He already beat the game and has a review out. So where are you at?
I'd give it a 9.5.
Interesting.
I think that for 2D Zeldas, this is the direction now. I think that if we get another 2D Zelda with Link, which hopefully we do, hopefully we just continue. I want to have both, right?
Yeah, sure.
But I'd like to see a lot of the gameplay elements, as far as like the way you make it like open world ish, as far as how you explore the worlds and whatnot. I want to see that make its way into the next 2D top down Zelda game.
Okay.
I would say I don't really like assigning scores, but if I'm gonna pick one, I'm gonna say it's some. I have to see how the ending's might decide where I land on here.
So far, doesn't.
But I'm feeling 8.5 to 9.
Right.
Like I think this game's gonna max out at a 9. Maybe if the ending is terrible, it goes down to like an 8. But I think it's I figure I'm gonna be at an 8.5 or a 9 by the time I'm done.
All right, Eric.
I think right now I'm at probably a 7.5, 8. There's just been some things that I've had where I know what I need to do, and for some odd ass reason, the game just doesn't want to do it for me. So it's just there are parts with it, and I'm hoping it gets better. I'm hoping some of these things, some of the places that I see get better, but it's been fun so far. So,
All right, Game Junction.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm a little past halfway through, but where I'm at right now, I'm at an 8.5 to 9. I gotta say, I'm enjoying the game for sure. I might enjoy it even more towards the end, the latter half of the game. So, around a 9 where I'm at right now.
Cool. Well, I'm just gonna sound like a fanboy, but I'm at 9.8. This is everything I wanted the game to be.
Yeah, you definitely sound like a fanboy.
Everything I wanted the game to be.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, it is what it is.
Everything I wanted.
Everything you wanted.
Now that doesn't mean that 9.8 is going to hold, and it might go down a little bit the more I play.
9.6.
This would mean I have no criticism. If I had no criticism, it'd be a 10. But it's not a 10 because
Tell me a criticism that we haven't listed today.
that we haven't listed?
I feel like I just threw out a really hard question because I am not even sure I could answer that question right now.
A criticism. The horse should be an echo.
Oh, well, that's a criticism that none of us have had today.
Well,
Yeah.
for what reason?
Because there's multiple different types of horses, and you should be able to just do an echo to summon different types of horses, and instead of it just being a carrot.
So
Okay.
summon the.
It's like it's just a
one-
carrot and the horse comes, and it's like, okay, but why am I summoning a carrot to summon the horse? Why can't I just summon the horse?
So if you
I can
did
literally
that,
summon enemies, I can summon beds, I can summon everything else instantly. Why do I have to summon an item to summon something?
it is
kinda
interesting
like
because if you can make echoes of creatures, theoretically, you should be able to make an echo of a horse.
Yeah, why not?
Theoretically, you should. Do you
But-
think they
yeah.
did it just for nostalgia, like
I
for
think-
giving
I think- I think-
Epona a carrot?
I
But
think-
also, it also allows them to limit where the horses go.
who cares?
True.
Why? Who cares? Why limit it?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't want the horse in the dungeon, probably.
Why
But
not?
yeah, I don't know.
You also
maybe it could
can't
break
use any
something.
animals that aren't monsters.
Who cares?
Maybe it just seems inhuman. Maybe just thought it would be like just not
Inhumane.
saying something. Yeah, inhumane. Yeah, that's the word I was going to use. But I was like,
Yeah, when I abandoned the snake I summoned over there, and I know it's about to die because I'm going to go to the next room. Man, how inhumane is this game?
Sometimes
Terrible,
I
man.
do feel bad when I desummon.
We gotta
Like,
treat like
I'm gonna call PETA right now.
they should just let it. It should just let it be. But that's a criticism I know nobody brought up. But it's kind of like,
Yeah.
look, it's not that big of a deal, and it's not like I'm even using the horse that much.
I
But
agree.
but it's still like, okay, but why can't I?
well,
just,
I asked you to pull out a random criticism.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you know.
But no, as I said, I have criticisms about the game. It's not a perfect game. It's just like my criticisms, like the performance. Yeah, sucks. Should be better. Also, game is still perfectly enjoyable despite it. So in the end, is it like a deal breaker for me?
Mhm.
No. The management. Yeah, as Eric brought up, I've talked to him about it before. Like, I think all the items that are basically the same item but have variants should just be one section, one thing on the main row, and then when you go to that, you can go up and down to select variants of variants of the choo-choos, variants of the Rita, variants of this, variants of that, variants of your pots, and you just leave the one that's there, the one that you tend to use the most, like the bed you use the most. That's the one that it just populates there,
Or the
But
one
you
that
just
you
select a
just use
different one.
last. I mean,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
However they want to do it. But the point is, they didn't do that. They don't let you have a favorites
don't-
list. Like that's all stuff that
I don't know how many
could
times
be
I've
better.
gone past the one I needed.
I also and look,
Yeah.
the menu navigation, there is like that button combo you can hit quick to bring up like the more square menu of it and then select. But I
It's
just
not elegant.
it's not elegant, and I think it's a lot of it. They just kind of copied what Tears of the Kingdom did,
Yeah.
not realizing that Tears of the Kingdom, even though some people found the way Tears of the Kingdom did it to be annoying, that's why some people didn't do a lot of fusing with arrows sometimes because it was just kind of annoying. But like they had multiple different menus that worked in that similar way, which made it feel less annoying. Like you being able to quick swap any weapon out, quick swap a shield out. Those are all like different buttons rather than it all being one menu.
Yeah.
So like it didn't feel as bad, even though fusing was technically the same menu the whole time. It just didn't feel as bad because we were kind of used to using that style of menu in different parts of the game. Whereas this game, that's the only place you use it. There is no other place in the game. That's it. The whole game runs through that menu. So it just feels like it would have been a perfect opportunity to make it better. But again, I say all these things and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like
Yeah,
I've had
exactly.
so goddamn fun. I just don't give a shit. I just organize my type enemies and then items. And then I just at the beginning of the list, I go left to get to the ones that are on the other side.
Mhm.
And then I stay here. Like it's whatever. And now granted, I'm not at the point that I'm towards the end of the game where I have 100 plus echoes. But it's probably just gonna get more annoying the more I play. I just love this game, man. I'm a big Zelda fan. And it's not that I can't find critique. Actually, I think because I'm such a big fan, it's actually easier for me to find critiques. It's just
Sure.
how much do those critiques really make me not want to play the game?
Yeah.
And like, I have a ton of critiques of Tears of the Kingdom. It's my favorite game of all time, and I'd still rate that like a 9.9.
Yeah, it's just like one of those
Yeah.
things where like you just want it to be the best game ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like Yulia, she loves Tears of the Kingdom, but she's not like a Zelda freak. So like she's got no complaints. She thinks it's just absolutely perfect all the time. And she can't even find a fault. I'm like, oh, okay, well that's a little
Even though I want to move on,
a casual look. So
I do like what Kevo-san talks about in terms of the optional dungeons. I haven't done them all, but like there are some dungeons that are basically like I guess I don't want to spoil it, but it's cool to just waltz into a place. You're like, oh, this is a very interesting location. You know, it's a very interesting location.
I the super chat because it's for Eric directly. Just caught up, man, and I'm dying. Also, Eric deserves this whole super chat. Straight up gangster. He still hasn't taken a drink. There is a glass of milk poured, and he has not touched it.
Yeah, no, because I was waiting for the hour. It's been over an hour, so
there he goes. He's about to break
I'm drinking just because I want to drink. It's not because I needed to.
It might start to curdle.
It shouldn't curdle that quick. No. All right, let's go into our next topic. You know what? Let's save the Switch 2 one more for the end because I feel like it's a good lead in from the Alarmo stuff. Because since people might have thought Switch 2 was going to be revealed this week, there was quite a few that thought it was a possibility. Let's go to Game Junction's topic here because Nintendo made a couple announcements today.
Yeah, so we got some pretty interesting stuff today. It was a weird day for Nintendo, that's for sure. But first, we got the playtest program. Well, this actually came after, but we got the Nintendo Switch Online playtest program. So this one's a little confusing to me just because I know it's very limited, and they gave an exact amount of people. I think it's 10,000.
Yep.
And so 10,000 people get to check this out. You got to be hardwired in. It's got a start time, October 10th. You have to already have Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pass. So there's a lot of hurdles that you have to jump through. But, I mean, it's limited 10,000, so not very many people are getting in.
Do you have to be hardwired in? I believe
you do not have to be hardwired. The JavaScript file says they suggest you play
recommended
with the hardwire. Yeah, I think they're recommending because that's whatever feature this is. That's like what they're targeting for that.
Right.
But you don't have to do that.
Yeah. And the reason why the application page doesn't work is because it hasn't opened yet.
10 a.m. Central Time tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific. Yada yada yada.
Are we all? Is anyone trying to get in on that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean,
yes. My hope is
because I figured out what it is, and I absolutely.
I think I know what it is too.
Absolutely.
I think so too.
Well, wrong. Right. Absolutely want to get in on. Okay, I don't actually know, but I have
an idea.
Yeah, I think we all have ideas.
I hope that we can all get in so that we can discuss on the podcast. So that's my hope. So
there's an NDA. We're not allowed to talk about it. If you actually read the website.
Oh, that's right. You're right. No, you're right. I did read that.
But I'll say this: if we all get in, and let's just be honest, the internet already put it all out there, then I feel it's free. It's fair game.
Yeah, there is an NDA.
Once the rest of the internet puts it out there, which it's going to be out there tomorrow.
Where does it say the NDA, by the way? I didn't read everything.
You have to actually go to the link.
Go to the website.
Yeah. It says you got to be like 18 years old, all that stuff. It's limited to certain countries. And it gives you the link.
You can't talk about it.
It's in the source code of the website. So when the form opens,
so when you do the application,
when you go through the application, it's gonna tell you that if you agree to, hey, whatever's in here, we ask that you do not talk about it. You do not this, you do not that. So
can we just jump into talking about what we think it is?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're gonna know tomorrow, guys. You don't let 10,000 people of the public get in to think it's not getting out. So whatever this new thing is, we're gonna know tomorrow.
Well, maybe we don't know what it is tomorrow.
We'll know. One, I plan to get in, so I'll know. But whether I can talk about it will depend.
Hold on. So the thing is, we're not going to play it until the 23rd, right? October 23rd.
Let me see.
October 23rd I feel like an idiot. I'm trying to do
this
math
is a 2-week
to figure out
a long window of time too.
What this is Eastern Standard Time. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble here.
This will be.
All right. You ready for my theory? It's probably wrong because it's too damn cool.
What were you thinking, Game Junction?
EST. I was trying to figure out what it is Eastern Standard Time. About to look at it
tomorrow. It opens at because it's 8.
So 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay. All right.
Their website to go down because a lot of people are
I'm talking about when it opens tomorrow, right? The playtest period is. I mean, that doesn't matter as much. But it actually lasts for almost 2 weeks, it looks like, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So it is becoming a play test, right? So what are we play testing? And a lot of us want to believe this is Switch 2 related. But it's confirmation bias up the wazoo.
No,
and
whatever it is will be on Switch 2, but it's also going to be on Switch, or we wouldn't be testing it on Switch.
So, what is a game that does not, that obviously it's not Mario Party, right? It's gonna be out already. Mario and Luigi, from what we know, yeah, because Mario Party comes out the 17th. This play period doesn't start until the 23rd.
Okay.
Why are they gonna play test the game that's already out there?
You go into your theory.
But I'm looking at your face and I'm like, why are you wincing at that?
You're going. I already have the
okay. All right. See, all right. That's why. Okay, it's not the Mario Party thing because that's a factually correct thing. Okay. It's probably not to play test Mario and Luigi, is it? Does that even have multiplayer? I don't think it is. It's a single player game. It could be to play test fitness boxing.
I'm just gonna say right now, I don't think it's a game specific playtest.
I don't either.
It's a new feature for Nintendo Switch Online. Like there'll be games related to it, but it won't be like
what if that's the feature? But what if that's the feature?
What multiplayer that's already
to be able to play test future games on a separate app that's streamed, so that way there can't be any data mining.
Well, yeah, there can still be data mining, but that's what you think it is.
I mean, I'm just throwing out a possibility.
Yeah, look, we're not technically going to know unless the people that get accepted tomorrow, if they're given details, or if they can download the app and they just can't use it till the 23rd, and you can kind of tell by the app.
So
download it.
I'm going to tell you the most hyped possibility, right? I don't know what it is, right? I don't disagree with what you're saying necessarily, but I think the most hyped thing it could be, right, is it is a play test period where we sign up, we download it app, but we can play test games ahead of time, right? And there are games that why would they want us to play test? Because they want to do an online stress test usually, right? That kind of makes us think of like Splatfest, for example. Like, so this wouldn't be for Splatoon, this would be for another game. And that game will be a game that will maybe get shown off again very soon before the 23rd. So this is ultra hopium copium thinking that we're going to get a Switch 2 reveal before the 23rd. And basically what I'm getting at here is that they can't stress test a Switch 2 game on Switch 1, but they can stress test a game that might be cross-gen.
So
insert Metroid Prime 4 Beyond
Yeah.
multiplayer stress test in October, which is a great way to showcase the game, because we need to get more information on this game. Actually have it playable. Like, that would work pretty well if this game's coming out early on for Switch 2 next year.
I've heard
is this actually happening? Probably not.
I've heard 3 games mentioned. A couple don't make sense, but Metroid Prime 4, Splatoon 4, and then Pokemon Legends ZA. I've seen those all on X today. So, yeah, I don't know how
Splatoon
I feel
4
about that.
Definitely not, because there's no way. It has to be a game that we can play on Switch 1.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah.
All right, you have permission to talk, Nate, on your podcast.
I'm gonna throw something out there because I think this is stupidly obvious, and getting the hopium going for like individual games and getting to like play test like some future game that hasn't come out and how hype that would be. That's cool. I don't think that's what Nintendo's interested in at all, because that would mean that they're done doing public demos, and I just don't think they're done doing public demos to just do private demos. So the way I look at this is something that they don't even want people to talk about. Okay. If it's game related, it's getting out no matter what. It's like they're not going to want spoilers for Metroid Prime 4 or spoilers for some future unannounced game, because again, they'd want to announce it. Now, obviously, you can argue, well, maybe if they reveal Switch 2 or there's a direct before then, then we already know what the game is. Fine. I think it's for a service, because it's about a new thing being added to NSO that requires a separate app. So, like, I think it's for a service, and there's 2 ideas I have for it. One of them is they're going to combine all of NSO into one app, and they want us to test it out, because that is something that they want done just in general, because they're going to clean that up by the time Switch 2 comes out, make it all one app. They're going to also update it on Switch where you can have it as one app. And maybe they want us to test that out. Now, the problem with that is, why would we need to be wired in for that? Why would we need to be in TV mode? It doesn't make any sense. So why, and we don't need to be, by the way, but why are they preferring that we play in TV mode with a full wired connection? Why do we need that stable, consistent, fast connection?
Well, we don't need it. It's just recommended.
No, but it's recommended like heavily. Like they're really pushing like you should play it that way, but you can play it, without it. But why are they recommending it? It's the most obvious thing ever. They're going to have a centralized game streaming service. Period. They already have game streaming on Switch. It's just not centralized. They have a centralized game streaming service. I have even a wild idea I told Eric before the show where it's like, what if the reason we're testing it on Switch is because what if they're unifying eShops between Switch and Switch 2, so Switch users can actually buy digital Switch 2 games, but it'll come with the caveat, like a big flag on it saying you can only play this game if you buy it through the streaming app that you get as part of your expansion pack membership on Switch, or obviously upgrade to Switch 2 and then you can download and play it local. And then they'll just have a stream. And I know a lot of you guys hate streaming services, and this is not what people want it to be. They don't want it to be game streaming. But I don't think game streaming is going anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
You mentioned one thing that I think is like something that I think is important to focus on is that this is something that you have to have the expansion pack membership for, right? So whatever. So it's something that's going to make the expansion pack program more valuable, right? So thinking along those lines, like that's,
And like if Nintendo has like a multiplayer game for Switch 2 that's exclusive to Switch 2, but you can instantly have an extra audience on Switch through the streaming app. I don't know that Nintendo is going to go in terms of the route of allowing Switch 2 games to be on it for Switch, because they do believe that games sell systems. But then again, streaming is not like a big enough thing that people prefer doing that over buying games individually and being able to have them on the system, whether digital or physical. So I don't think it's going to be a big deterrent at the launch of Switch 2. But I do think even if it's not the ability to play Switch 2 games on Switch through streaming, I think the idea of it being a streaming app, because they want you to do TV mode with a consistent connection. You can do it without, but they prefer that. To me, that means Nintendo, whatever is doing, they want this to be, they want the testing they're looking for is the situation in which people would do a certain thing. And a certain thing, such as streaming games, is something that most people would do via a wired connection on their TV. And that's why they want you to test it out. You could do it other ways, but they know other ways aren't ideal.
What kind of games are we playing on the streaming service?
This could be how Call of Duty comes over.
Yeah.
For now, it'll be local on Switch 2. But like even this version is Call of Duty day one. Maybe you'll be able to buy it on Switch, but you'll just only be able to use it through the service. But they tell you if you bring your account over to Switch 2, you'll be able to download it on Switch 2. That's just an obvious one. They can get out the gate. Because like for Switch, there's a lot of reasons to have like a really reliable streaming service, but it's been kind of hit or miss with most of it because it's nothing centralized. And by the way, they already work with Google. Their entire voice chat system on their phone app is through Google, which is kind of funny. But you consider that Stadia actually worked really, really well. Meaning Google has the technology to do this. And
Amazon Luna.
And if Nintendo decided to hook up with Google again and be like, hey, let's just repurpose this thing into a thing we can use and charge for. That could be a thing. Besides that, like if you look towards Switch 2, because we just presume, we'll just be able to get everything on there. Yeah, but what if this is their way of like future proofing for third party games when like PS6 and stuff comes out? We already have the service here. Just come in and get it. And they can do temporary runs. Like you talked about the gameplay demo idea, right? Well, they could do it through streaming. Instead of letting people download and data mine, they could do, hey, this weekend, try out, the new Zelda game that comes out next week. You can play for an hour in the new Zelda game this weekend only through our streaming service. They can do stuff like that as well. Like temporary demos where like they don't have to worry about chopping it up. They can just time limit it.
So basically what I said for Metroid Prime 4.
Kind of. I just don't think it's to like test out a multiplayer feature or anything like that. Personally, I think it's to test out a service.
Yeah, I mean, my again, I don't actually believe it's gonna be Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, I don't think next year maybe something, but yeah.
But I think the point is that having an app like that where expansion pack members can play some games ahead of time, Like, is that, are we on the same page there that they could?
Yeah, maybe like a 3-day early access.
Like, yeah, like a limited thing, or maybe it's even a month in advance, like almost like a Splatfest, but across the board.
Sure.
Not just Splatoon.
But
I don't
know that people don't want to talk about game streaming, and I know that's not what we really want this to be. But I just kept thinking they prefer you to have a wired connection. There's only one thing you really definitely need a wired connection for, and that is game streaming.
Yeah. I will. Something I think is also kind of just interesting to think about is the period of the playtest period is between October 23rd and November 5th, which interestingly is right before Mario and Luigi. It's like the window of time between Jamboree and Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
Does that mean anything? I don't know, but at least it's something going on during those weeks.
And it's still limited to 10,000 people. So like this isn't something that, a majority of people are even going to be able to experience. But Nintendo's not dumb. Like even in their little NDA thing, it just says we would prefer if you don't say anything. They're not even like, they're going to pretend that it's not going to get out. They know it's going to get out. But that's like one of those, like if I get into it, if I don't get into it, I'll still talk about it because it's going to leak out there. But once I get into it, if it leaks out there, then I think it's just, that's fair game to talk about on the podcast and stuff. Because once it's public knowledge, we can't just pretend it doesn't exist. That being said,
you can.
It's just of any other, you can, but like, what's the point at that point? If there's videos everywhere about it, it's like, come on, I'm not going to.
I don't think it'd be held against you.
Yeah, well, it'd be different if Nintendo was like, you absolutely like it's more of a suggestion NDA than it is like you absolutely like Iron Fist. I'm like, okay, if it was Iron Fist, I'd shut the fuck up about it.
So do we have any examples where that's happened before? We're like, hey, can you not talk about this? But I feel like it has, but I can't think of it.
It happens with a lot of companies all the time that do like early game beta testing. Next thing you know, day one it's being streamed on Twitch.
I was trying to think of like Nintendo situations though.
Nintendo hasn't done a lot of stuff like this. Like the other ones they did, if you remember, like they did the public Splatoon test, but that was public. You could just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
For some reason, they don't want this to be public, and I think there's two things that they're probably going to look for feedback on the actual like thing they're building, and if this is something you are excited for and want, and then two, how well does it work in a controlled setting? Because
that's probably what it is. They're probably not sure how well it's going to run at this point.
Yeah, and they don't want millions of people coming into it because it's like, well, this isn't ready for the big time. I don't think yet. Whatever this is, it's like, hey, we're trying this thing, and you know what? This makes more sense than us hiring temporary 10,000 people to try this out. Let's just have our fans do it because we're making it for them anyways. So that's why I think it's a service or something that's a little bit more experimental that will probably launch or plan to launch next year, and it will be on Switch because we wouldn't be testing it on Switch otherwise. So it'll be a Switch and Switch 2 because it's just part of NSO. I just don't know what it is. Like, does anyone else have any other ideas? Like, I'm pretty sold that it's kind of a streaming service of some type. But
to play Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, sure. But what else could it be? Like, we know it requires the internet. That much we know.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Just to kind of jump off of your idea a little bit, Nate. What if they are bringing out a streaming service, but it's for all of their old shows, their upcoming movies, things like that? So that they can have a place for those to be, able to be seen and rewatched and whatnot, and then, they can bring them to their systems when after they're out of theaters and stuff like that.
I guess it's technically a play test, but I just feel like play test implies that there's going to be playing of games.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too.
I don't know. You still hit play and pause.
That's why I said technically.
Hey, I asked for alternative ideas. Let's not poop number one.
I'm not pooping it. I'm just
saying
that it's weird. But all of this is weird.
Be the savior. What's another alternative idea?
Well, I was on Twitter earlier. I think this morning. Obviously Brazil's back. Twitter, right? Earlier, is that me again?
Someone had the stream playing.
Yeah. Brazil is back on Twitter because they're off Twitter for a while.
Yeah.
So Necrophilippe posted, and you guys remember there was a firmware update on the 7th.
Yeah, it was such a good one too.
Well, actually, that's what's funny about it. Is Oatmeal Dome did a deep dive examination on the update and said that this update is substantial because pretty much every system component was updated, which is very unusual.
Yeah.
And then Necro posted, based on what I've seen in Switch firmware 19, I expect interesting changes involving the Friends system, the home, storage, and even the way the operating system of Nintendo's new hardware should handle simultaneous content downloads.
Oh man, you
So-
gave me another green blast.
Yeah, so apparently this firmware update that everyone thinks is just for stability, there's more to it. And of course, Nintendo's not going to tell us if there's more to it because they don't want us to know. And so thankful to Oatmeal Dome for doing that deep dive. But Friends system,
Voice
So-
chat.
that's what I
Yeah,
was thinking.
voice
That's what
chat.
I was thinking, guys, is voice chat.
I'm
Why
sorry,
would you need 10,000 people? No, it's okay. You didn't steal it. It's. I think it's a great idea, right? Like, why would you need 10,000 people? I think voice chat would honestly be a legit reason.
It'll
And
be a crowded room.
this just happened on the 7th, right? The firmware update.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy though if it's like basically for okay, it would make sense, like basically kind of like Xbox Live, right? But for Nintendo, and expansion pack would
I'm
be it.
curious if that's what we're doing. If we're previewing something like that, it'll launch with Switch 2, but it's going to obviously be updated on Switch.
So
Right.
maybe it's something where like, hey, yeah, you just have on this app you can play your different, like you play whatever games you want, you would, but you have access to more online features, including voice chat and messaging friends or something like that. Like that would be kind of wild.
That'd be
Yeah.
sweet.
That's kind of my thought. Is when I heard about the play test, I'm like, I wonder if it has something to do with this and with the Friends system. That seems like it would fall in line, and this is a great way, of course, to test it because you're not showing anyone like Switch 2 games or something. This would be something that would be on both platforms. It would carry over.
You know what I hope it is now, though? I hope we're all wrong. And I hope it's actually like Mario 128 Battle Royale.
Oh man.
And they make us fall in love with this random, wacky, like Battle Royale Mario game. And it also has sports voice chat because they are testing that too. It's an online thing and it's gone for 2 weeks. And we're like, well, what was that? Well, it'll be gone for like 2 years and we'll see it again.
I'd be all for that.
Well, the 40th anniversary is next year. So I expect that's just another reason we should all expect, honestly, 3D Mario, right? Is that it's the 40th anniversary on top of that. But yeah, you got to wonder if we're going to get something cool like the Mario games that they've done in the past for the anniversaries, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
We should. Why not?
Yeah.
Hey, what if they add DLC to Super
Mario Galaxy
All-Stars?
2.
Yes, Galaxy 2.
Please, for the love of God, bring
The
it to
40th
Switch.
anniversary. That would be interesting.
That would be.
It's either that or that it's going to be a standalone Switch title that will be released after. Switch 2.
To be honest, I don't even care at this point. I just want to get the game brought over here.
I don't either. I just want it to be playable. I mean, when did it come out? 2009?
2009, 2010, somewhere
I
around
want to say
there.
2010, but I think I don't know. It's 9 or 10. It's one of those two.
Yeah, one of those two.
Just think about all the people though that haven't played it, and this is why I always go back to the Metroid Prime trilogy, right? This is why you have to bring over 2 and 3 because so many people have not played these games. I mean, they came out in the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s. You got to bring them out to a modern audience if you want Metroid Prime 4 to do the best that it can possibly do. You have to do this.
By the way, Mario Galaxy 2 came out May 23rd, 2010.
There you go. So next year it's gonna be 15 years old.
Crazy.
Yeah, because it can always get its license.
Yeah.
So yeah, you look at it that way, and you got to bring that game out. There's a lot of people who haven't played it.
Yeah, I don't want to say there's anything there isn't anything to anniversaries, like there is, but I feel like sometimes we get too caught up on the anniversary thing. Like, oh, there's an anniversary, they're gonna do something. I feel like oftentimes, when they have something cooking and they see an anniversary is coming up conveniently, that's when they take advantage of it, because they didn't do anything really significant for Zelda's 35th anniversary. They had the Game & Watch thing, you know, like it wasn't like how they celebrated Mario. But I do kind of feel like for Zelda's 40th anniversary, they're gonna go a little ham.
What if
Should.
I was thinking for a second, what if like I was onto something with the streaming, but it's actually just a new system and it's just they're streaming GameCube?
Yeah, totally.
I could see that happening.
But they decided to do it via streaming for some reason.
It's like a teaser because we'll have GameCube on NSL for Switch too.
Yeah, like maybe on here on Switch it's streaming, on Switch 2 it's local.
I don't know.
I mean,
Why would you need
Switch system to handle
people?
GameCube? So that's it's a
Just to have a mini stress test.
and they would all be multiplayer, right?
Because in a 2-week period, you'd have 10,000 people kind of mostly playing.
Bro, dude, imagine Melee online with voice chat.
You know what? It could be that. You want to know why? When PlayStation Premium, like I get all the beta codes for the updates, right?
Yeah.
They had emailed me and asked if I would do a stress test on the games that were going to be streaming, the PS5 games, like when God of War Ragnarok became streamable. They wanted stress tests done to see how it would hold up streaming, and I took gave the feedback at the end and all that stuff. So that would make sense that maybe they would do that. I mean, well, why not? If PlayStation seems to think that needs to be done, you'd think that Nintendo would want to do that too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just throw out there, like obviously I keep thinking of like new ways they could do a streaming thing, but who knows? So why don't we get to the other thing, like the actual product that was announced? Like, hey guys, we had new hardware from Nintendo.
Yeah.
What is it? Game Junction.
So we got something absolutely spectacular. It is the Alarmo. Basically a clock alarm.
Yeah, I'll try to put the video for everyone.
Yeah, it's interesting. I pre-ordered it right away. I'm just a sucker for this Nintendo stuff that's weird. I mean, it's the same with like the Game & Watches and things like that. I was always excited for all the weird stuff that they did, like the Pokeball Plus and the just weird oddball things that Nintendo does. I mean, they were a toy company after all, right? So this kind of makes sense, and when you look into the dev stuff with it, it also makes more sense why they did this. So I think it's pretty interesting. I mean, it isn't much more than an alarm clock, but it is kind of cool that you could set all the stuff on it, and like it's showing you here on the video, it's kind of neat. I'm not gonna lie, like it looks like it'll be a cool kind of more of like a decoration or collection piece for me. But hey, I might actually even use it. So
well, you know what else it is, right?
It's the Switch too.
No, it's a sound machine. Also, they said.
Oh, is it really?
Personally, I love sound machines. They're gonna use like Nintendo Music for a sound machine.
Oh wow, that's perfect. That'd be perfect.
I love sound machines. Like honestly, I like white noise, but
I have to use white noise because I have ringing in my ears 24/7. So that'd be perfect. Yeah.
Yep. So that's cool, right?
Has anyone watched any? Because this product's out in the wild. It released in Nintendo New York today. People are already using it. Has anyone watched videos of people using it yet?
I haven't. No,
I have not. But
I just wanted to check it out myself.
I ordered it, so hopefully it'll be here soon.
So the reason I bring that up is I made a statement on Twitter before the show because I wasn't sure how I'd be feeling at this point. Stomach's doing a little thing, but I'll be all right, guys. I really look at this product in a different light after watching the videos, because I read the dev interview they dropped today, right? They did like a little dev interview.
Yeah.
And one of like the first lines in the interview, it's a one-liner that says what this product is. It's an alarm clock that turns off when you stand up. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. That is the primary purpose of this product. That is what they're not. I mean, this whole thing is showing how that works, right? You know, you move around and you get coin noises and other things in the game. And then when you actually get up, it turns off.
Mm-hmm.
That primary feature of standing up and turning off barely functions.
What?
It barely functions. And if you have more than one person in the bed, it basically doesn't work. So it ends up being a thing where this, I don't know how this ended up getting released by Nintendo. And then I reminded myself, you can only buy it at the Nintendo store and you can only buy it, you know, as a member online through their website. I think this is just a limited time product that they're releasing for collectors purposes, for nostalgia.
Yeah.
There'll be maybe 1 million of them out there, and that's it. And it's just going to be a highly collectible Nintendo thing where they had this cool idea, maybe in like the most perfect ideal setting. It works every single time. No one's purposely setting up their bedroom to use this. So there's no such thing as like an ideal situation for this. Almost useless for couples. Kids, you know, do kids want to like toss in the middle of the night and have a coin go off? Probably not, because apparently it can't tell whether you're sleeping or not. So like it'll stop playing the music at one point, but then like the person just like rolled over in bed, you know, like they're like adjusting their pillow, and all of a sudden it was like ting woohoo, and I'm like, no one wants that. I'm like,
man. Like I actually would have legitimately used this, especially for the sound machine part.
I'm not saying that there isn't uses for it, and I'm sure you could turn off some of the features, and then it could be useful for like helping you as a sound machine go to sleep and stuff like that. You know, because what do sound machines do? Like I have a tinnitus in my ears. I listen to thunderstorm. I listen to thunderstorm sounds all night, and then I have my fan blasting. So I've got two different kind of white noise things going on.
That's my music, man.
But I leave it on all night, right? So like some of the stuff in this is kind of cool, but the moment that people got it in their hands and they started testing out the features and realizing that like it doesn't really work as well as the commercial makes it out to be, it let me know that this like is not meant to. And it's $100. And I joked on Twitter that you get more functionality out of a $15 Walmart alarm clock. Yeah, you don't get the Nintendo music. Sorry, you get a radio though, so you get to listen to a lot of stuff on the radio. So I think it's like a novelty item basically, and Nintendo knows it. And so they're charging $100 for this big novelty item, and it's probably only going to be available this year. Then they'll stop selling it. It'll probably first stop online, then they'll stop in the store when they run out of stock, and that's just kind of what it's going to be. Just the fact that like the first line in the dev interview of what they say this thing is doesn't even work half the time. It's like, okay. I believe that the two people behind the product put a lot of time and passion into it, but the tech doesn't really work. So, or work consistently well enough that people are going to rely on this to be like their everyday. I'm not going to be late to work. I'm not going to. Now, for kids, maybe they just don't give a shit for kids as like a product for kids. But yeah, they're not even trying to sell this for kids buy stuff. Kids aren't going on Nintendo's online thing to buy things. They're not going to the Nintendo store. They're on Amazon, they're on Walmart, they're not even going where the kids are at. This is very much a product targeted at hardcore Nintendo fans. Like I have to have everything Nintendo.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty much just going to end up being a one-run collector's item.
I think so. And it doesn't have an AC adapter from the box.
Yeah, I saw that. By the way, I'm tired of devices not coming. Okay, you're going to give me the plug, but this item specifically, it's an alarm clock. It's meant to be plugged into the wall.
Right.
Not a laptop, it's meant to be plugged into a wall.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's wild.
I'm so mad products do that now.
And it's very expensive. It's $100.
I mean, Apple started it. Let's be real here.
Yeah, no, Apple pissed me off because here's what happened. They switched to USB-C 1 gen. They gave the USB-C to Lightning. They gave you the nice fast charging brick for 1 gen, and then they said, "Oh, everyone has it now, so we don't have to put it in the box." No, not everyone upgraded to that. So now you gotta buy a $50 charger from Apple to get the full speed. It's stupid. But no,
it's wild.
I'm assuming that it requires minimal voltage to function because
it doesn't seem like it's something that's pretty high voltage. You can use a cheap one. But like I'll give you an example. I don't have extra of those in my house because products stopped coming with them.
Right.
I literally do not have an extra brick. right now. I'd have to go out of my way with this product to buy more.
I mean, I'm sure you could probably order something for like $5, $10, $15 on
It's not
Amazon.
expensive, but it's annoying.
It's
that I would
just,
buy a product I can't use out of the box until I buy something else. I just hate it. I just wish that stuff would stop. And I know some of you guys in your more modern houses, you're now when you get your outlets installed, you'll have your 2 outlets, like your standard two US outlets, and then there'll also be 2 USB on it. Because I know USB is starting to become more standard on newer homes, but like, come on, most of the US is not living with the most up to date modern outlets in the world, man.
You know what I'm interested in though, with the Alarmo, and it's something I thought of like shortly after I had pre-ordered it. Is I wonder how long it's going to take for someone to hack it.
Right.
No, for
It
real.
won't
Like,
take long.
I mean, look at like the NES Classic Edition when it came out. That was able to run Hack-G pretty soon after, and then and then all of them were really running it. Super Nintendo, the Sega.
They'd be hacked by the weekend.
I just wonder what they would do. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what if I could add some cool stuff to it?
Third party stuff on it. Or, the screen might have a little touch thing on it. So now we're playing a game on our Alarmo.
Yeah, I don't want to play a game on it, but I am wondering like if you can add other stuff.
It's going to run Doom. We know that for sure.
It should.
Well, they put Doom on everything. So, yeah. That's, it'll be interesting. Like, my interest in the product when, like, I thought it was kind of a joke when they announced it. I'm like, this is hilarious. Like, Nintendo knows what everyone wants, and they're dropping an alarm clock. That's very hard to get your hands on, and it's expensive. I'm like, this is a total Nintendo boss move. And I was just having fun with it all day. But then I showed Yulia the trailer, and she's like, oh, we should get that for the kids. And I'm like, oh, no. Okay, I got to actually consider seriously buying one. And then I'm like, all right, let me just type it in and see if anyone has it now. Because they said it released today, but I'm like, okay, let me see. Oh, yeah, people at the Nintendo store. Oh, hey, here's some reviews. Here's Oh. So this isn't something I'm actually ever going to use outside of like a video I make for it. Or just to be like, I have the Nintendo Alarmo, but I turned off all the features because they don't function correctly. And I'm trying to sleep in the middle of the night and I'm getting wahoos out the ass.
Or
Wahoo!
you're getting wahooed by
What happens if I'm in some friction? What happens if I'm having some motion in the ocean going? I don't need Link over there going, hiya!
Actually, that would be really funny.
That would be pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
You could lean into that, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, when you read through the website and stuff, like you have options, like you can pick gentle, firm, like it's not like
gentle.
All right. I mean, those are the words they use.
That's perfect, man.
We'll go for the firm option. Firm, please. Like, what is gentle and firm on an alarm clock? That's like what you use to describe like the hardness of a bed.
Man, what you do in the privacy of your room is between you and your Alarmo.
You and your alarm. So I don't know. Like, I might end up getting one on the off chance that we can maybe make it work for one of our kids, but I don't know. I also feel like if I get it, I'm just going to leave it in the box because I think it'll be worth more money if I just never ever.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to open mine for sure or not.
But I think it won't be sold after this year, and then like you get 10 years down the road, how many of these aren't actually opened?
Exactly. We've seen it happen. The other devices. What do you guys think about the free DLC though?
I think they're just going to update with a few more games. They already confirmed Mario Kart and Animal Crossing.
Yeah, the update's out now. You can actually get some extra now.
I guess the thing is, if it is going to be kind of niche, like, are they going to continue updating it? Because
that's what I was wondering. Yeah. How long are you going to support this thing?
I think they'll do. Yeah. I think they'll support it through like the first year of Switch 2, until they have like every major franchise on it, and then they'll just let it be at that point.
I would like to see that. I would like to see a wave race theme. Or you know what? I thought of 2 games would be nice. That and how perfect would not white noise, but how perfect would a Sound Machine version be for Pilot Wings 64?
Perfect. Give me Pilot Wings.
Exactly. I was like, that would be really cool.
If you're going to try to sell this as a really unique, very strange, like if there's one thing people will use this for, it's noise to fall asleep. Okay, then give me the
Yeah.
stuff that actually people that want white noise want to listen to. Because, like, look, I listen to Nintendo music sometimes when I go. I say, but I got to be honest, it's the thunderstorm sounds and it's the fan. But you give me the propeller from Pilot Wings, I can swap that in.
It's so
Bro.
good.
I would love a Donkey Kong update.
That'd be sick.
Oh yeah, give us aquatic ambiance.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The ambiance
Yeah.
would be great. Yeah.
I'm all
Or
for
in the morning, you hear the drums, the bongos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like whenever when DK leaves his house, like
You know, all the
Yeah.
sound effects when you because it shows like when you're stretching and moving, and I saw it in the videos too. Like it has all these different sound effects it does until you supposedly get out of bed. And I kept thinking, like, what happens when a couple does it and they're having a little morning fun? All those sound effects are gonna pop off every time you're moving.
Yeah.
Every time.
Dude, that's cool, man.
That's like ding.
Oh
ding.
man, yeah.
I think
it's a
that's
little-
hilarious.
Like,
Like I'll start laughing. Probably, but
Thunder Stash, I expect you to open this and not leave it sealed. I want
why are you
to
going
hear
faster?
your review on it too.
Coins.
I think I don't know. Like I do kind of want to open it because
I do too.
I want them to
kinda.
add more games, and what I was thinking is that if Nintendo doesn't hypothetically like add a lot of stuff, that's where I think the modding community
I think
might
so,
come in
too.
and add what I just talked about.
I mean, I very well might. I mean, if it's still available, get a second one. If that's the case, keep one sealed, have one to mess around with. Mod.
If you do that, the sealed one would pay for both.
Yeah, I
easily
think so too.
down the road.
But legitimately, like that was my very first thought was the modding scene. Something's gonna happen with this, and I think something kind of cool. I'm a sucker for any modded stuff. I like the weird, obscure, bizarre mods for stuff. You know, like the Doom running on a pregnancy test and things like that.
That
you
one
know.
was crazy.
Yeah, that is weird.
is that real? Is that possible?
Yeah,
No, that was real. Yeah,
that was real, man. They've got Doom run on everything on the
everything.
on the refrigerators that have screens.
Yeah, yep.
They've done
So-
so much. It's amazing.
I work for another YouTuber who does stuff for appliances, and he was checking out the fridge that has a screen on it, legitimate full Assassin's Creed on it, everything had stuff running on it. I thought it was
Wow.
wild. Yeah, it's absolutely
That is
wild. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
It's pretty cool. This is a good gift for kids though,
Yeah, it is.
Or
because
me.
they did mention that, like,
I'm gonna get it for me.
you know, for couples,
I
like
mean,
if you're not single, this won't work. I had read that, of course, and
Oh, I'm still single, so
it's like
so if someone wants to give me a gift.
it's perfect for kids though. If you think about it,
especially couples if they get up at like different times too. You know, like
Yeah,
some go to work before others, and sleep schedules are a little different. Like when my
Yeah.
fiance was working, like sometimes she'd be working, you know, till 7, but then like I have my streams that might go to 11, and she's got to be up at like 5 in the morning, but I don't have to be up till 6:30. You know, sometimes you don't want alarms. Like the big thing is, it was always, even if it functioned correctly, it was always just a novelty item, even if it functioned correctly, because there's nothing it's providing to you that you can't get from your phone, let alone from like an Alexa or anything like that. Like it's not really providing anything new. It's just Nintendo themed. But then even the Nintendo themed stuff you could just do from your phone. So it's literally it's just a novelty item to begin with. But it just kind of like it just threw me off when like the first line of the dev interview says exactly the purpose of the device, and then the first 3 videos I watch on it, I'm watching as that purpose fails.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. This was not something that they ever at any point got to function correctly, like consistently anyways. All right. This is definitely just a novelty collectors. And hopefully I can turn that feature off if it doesn't work, because I'll just get frustrated if I try to use it and it doesn't turn off. And also, one thing I didn't find out from the videos, look, I get the idea is, because I kind of looked at this like the anti-snooze button, and you can't snooze it. It's going to just go till you get up. That's the point. No snooze. But then they were showing people like getting up like 20 minutes later and it changing to some crazy Bowser like stuff, like getting pissed at you, like get the fuck up.
that was pretty funny actually. Like I thought that was really cool. Like if you don't wake up,
Yeah, the alarm clock just fucking getting
it
pissed.
turns into Bowser and starts getting pissed off at you and starts growling at you.
I think that's kind of cool, but it's also like, so you're the anti-snooze. I'm not supposed to snooze you. You're just gonna get pissed at me if I don't get up when my alarm says it.
Conquer just starts yelling at you.
So if you're the kind of person that sets your alarm on purpose, you can slap snooze 3 times.
Yeah.
Nope, not with this one. You better be slapping that for the exact time you're waking up.
I like that. I think that's pretty funny. Like, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, maybe I just gotta dab 2 of these things.
That might be the way to go.
Or 3 if you want to get me a gift. Don't actually.
Just you make me feel bad. Do you want one? I'll
No. I can buy it myself. I'm a grown man. I'm just joking.
Girl making each other gifts.
That gets weird.
The time you've given to the podcast.
Please don't. I was kidding. I'll be upset if you give me a gift. Because I don't have to get you a gift.
You don't shit.
Let's just all give each other gifts.
Like if I get Eric a gift for like his birthday that just happened or Christmas, then he feels like obligated. Okay, I gotta go.
Exactly, it's a terrible thing. Don't do it.
A jersey, and then you took me to a game.
Yeah,
something like that. And I was like, well, okay, he spent more money than I did on him. Maybe I got to stop doing this gifting thing. Because like Eric just pays him back tenfold. Like, well, you got me a jersey. We better go to a game. Yeah. Anyways, it's all good. Anyways, so yeah, anyone else have anything to say about Alarmo?
Yeah. Apparently this means Switch 2 is not coming out ever.
You know what's funny? When people were saying that, like, oh, Nintendo's trolling us. Oh, we're not gonna get Switch.
Oh, by the way, I've known about this thing for like weeks.
And then they said it. And then they made another announcement. And it's like, oh yeah, clearly Alarmo wasn't replacing other announcements because then they announced the NSO thing. And it's like, okay, yeah, no shit. Like this USB-C device that we talked about on prior episodes, it was kind of like once it got broken down by other people and an alarm clock was one of the options on some of the testing that was going on. I'm like, oh, this is going to be either, and how big the device was. I'm like, okay, this is like something that sits on your desk and it's probably an alarm clock and this isn't Switch 2 related. And sure as shit, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Did you look at the prototypes on the website?
Yeah.
It was because like the first prototype looked like what we like from the SEC pages, like the dimensions, like it matched it to a T essentially, minus the little wonky dial thing. Yeah.
So like they it is what it is. They actually released the product. It's cool. I guess speaking of Switch 2, isn't our last topic? Who had that topic? Hey, that's Eric.
Yeah. As I'm losing steam.
Oh, you need more spice.
Yeah, I need more spice. Yeah.
God
you got another chip?
I don't got another chip. Chili powder in your mouth.
All right. And just freaking
smelling salt.
Do the cinnamon challenge.
Dude, that's
chili
what
powder.
I need to get for you. I need to get smelling salts.
Yes, I just ordered some of that. Those things are crazy, man.
Dude, they work. That's why they use sports. They wake you the fuck up.
They do, man. They're intense.
Yeah. The cinnamon challenge, but with chili powder.
See, speaking of gifts. See, that would be actually kind of cool. What if we did a Nintenbyte Podcast Secret Santa?
That would be. I'm on board.
I actually think Secret Santas are fun.
I think that's cool. Then you don't know what you're getting.
White elephant.
Everyone's getting something. Yeah. I think you know what? That's a really cool idea, Demonic Bro. Thank you so much. Well, you know, consider that this year. I think that would be fun.
Whenever there's like a one of those I usually get like extremely creative.
I do too.
Yeah, I think the more creative the better, especially when we're a Nintendo podcast. Yeah. Anyway,
so I did. Sorry.
No, sure. I was just gonna say a random like Christmas story. But it wasn't Christmas. It was like a month later, and I was like, I decided to like get all my friends in the area together, and I was like, hey, we're gonna celebrate a new holiday. It's called Santa Menos, and so it was just a me thing, right? I got them each a gift, right? They were all wrapped in black. And I got them each a gift that would annoy the hell out of them. But each gift showed how well I knew them in the most irritating, furious way possible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was the best.
That was fun.
So yeah, maybe we'll have to do that this year. Do a little Secret Santa. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it would be.
All right. So our last topic, Eric.
What are we most excited about the Switch 2? I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I mean,
I can't hide
look,
it at all.
the reveal is what I'm most excited for.
Right.
I don't even know what the thing's going to be, but like both professionally and personally, and just hype wise, like I'm just ready to just reveal it. I mean, if this thing even ends up being like another Wii U, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a disaster waiting to happen. I want to be there for it. I want to see it. I want to experience the disaster, the beautiful disaster, because I loved my Wii U.
Me too. Mine's still hooked up.
Experienced a beautiful disaster. I'm good, but I don't think it's going to be a disaster because one, it's going to have all of Nintendo's games, and anything that does that, I don't think could be a disaster. Plus, it's probably still portable, which means it also can't be a disaster.
Look at my Wii U. You see how inflated the battery pack is.
Yo, I love the Wii U, man.
That is not a feature. That is.
You should get a new battery pack.
Yeah, it's been like that for years.
Yes, I know it has. You showed that on an old show,
but it's only getting worse over time.
So, but on a more serious note, obviously we talked a lot about the reveal and when it could happen. And by the way, folks, it could still be this month. It's like I think one more week this month. I think is realistic.
Bro, it could be tomorrow.
Could be. Yeah. Like, by the way, there's no guarantee Nintendo was going to warn us before they announced.
By the way, the Switch reveal was on a Friday, so like they could announce it tomorrow for Friday. Or they could shadow drop it.
Sure. And if it's not this week, it could be. I don't think next week. I think next week's out because.
I mean, you could say that, but I looked at it. They actually had a Mario Party game launch on 3DS the same day they revealed Switch 1.
Well, yeah.
Now, granted, the scale is lesser, but they still did.
There's the scale, and it's also the fact that like they didn't advertise it at the time as replacing the 3DS. It's a new home console, although it's pretty obvious to anyone who saw the trailer. So yeah, it could happen next. I just don't think it will. I think if you could just go clear of it and do it the week after, then why wouldn't you?
Did you guys see that rumor from today?
Well,
the Reddit post that was taken down.
Are you talking about for Mac is not cool?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a college kid. He took
sure.
Yeah, he's a college kid. He's not a Nintendo employee. He literally said that he put up a whole thing.
So he put up a statement
in our chat. Mac is not cool. Watches my live streams. I don't know. He was here last night.
So, but there's just like the reason people were freaking out is because they saw on one of his threads that he posted an image and he has one screenshot on Twitter of one of Nintendo's tweets. I forget which one. It was one of the recent ones. One of them was the Mario and Luigi tweet. I think the other one was the wake up from Mario Party.
Yeah.
And it showed a view post engagements option on there.
Yep.
Which some people took to mean, oh, does that mean he can view the post engagement
account to do that?
From Nintendo of America.
Yeah. But it turned out he admitted he photoshopped it. So, he didn't think people were going to like catch on and say anything about it, but you know.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to see though. That he's so. I guess my issue is that by taking down the post, you can't see what he said.
Well, he put up a response and pinned it, and then he showed an archive version of everything. So it's up if you want to find it still. But I know because I did some digging in. It was like, oh, that might be an interesting video, and then I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now that it all played out, I got it. Because I wasn't going to say anything. Just he's been at my streams. I figured I'll live stream. He'll show up, and I'll just ask him. But then anyways. But it was a cool theory because again, the view. If you use Twitter regularly, you know that view stats thing you cannot see unless you're logged into the account. That being said, for Switch 2, you know, we could talk about a lot of different features and a lot of different things to be excited for. You know, the reveal is obviously one of the things I'm most hyped for at the moment. I had a meeting today that was actually about the reveal, which is crazy shit. But
tell us about it.
Yeah.
Andres knows a little bit of it, but like I can't. It's kind of a business thing. I can't get into it. But I mean, I guess I could technically. I haven't signed jack shit right now. I guess it's not like I'm under an NDA. Can't say anything. It's not. I do not know when anything's being revealed. To be clear, I do not know any of that.
No.
Shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything.
To clarify though. Forget that stuff. People thought the commercial, because remember how like Paul Gale and they said they knew about a commercial that was filmed. People assume now that it was the Alarmo commercial. Now I haven't seen Paul Gale say anything yet. I have to double check. Maybe he said something on Twitter. Nate the Hate clarified that is not what he was told.
Right, but he also has yet to get that other piece of data to verify what he heard.
Game related. He's waiting for some sort of game trailer And then he said as soon as that drops, and if it confirms, he will then spew everything he was told.
Yeah. And Brazil also said that he still expects the reveal to happen.
Yeah, he's laughed. He's like, I didn't even know this was coming today, and I'm still Team 2024. It's like, okay.
Well, he also mentioned he's known about the clock for a little bit.
He knew about it.
It has not impacted his thinking.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I said that I knew about it for a few weeks, like I didn't know exactly what it was, but I mean the SEC filing kind of gave us a decent idea.
Yeah, and it was in mass manufacturing, so it was clearly something that like is coming sooner.
Yeah,
you know. Anyways, so thinking about that question about Switch 2, you know, what am I most excited about for it? I think the number one thing that always excites me going into a new generation with Nintendo in particular is it's a reset on every IP. So new Smash Bros, a new Mario Kart, a new 3D Mario, a new 3D Zelda, a new Pikmin, a new Splatoon. Like every major franchise that is successful for Nintendo is going to get a new major release again because of it. Whereas when you're on Switch, like Breath of the Wild came out, and I had a serious question. Are we going to get another major 3D Zelda game on this system? We might not. And they might be 10 years before I see Zelda again. Like in terms of a major 3D one, obviously we got Tears of the Kingdom, but you know, that's never a guarantee. I'll give you an example. Mario Odyssey came out in 2017, and we haven't had a brand new 3D Mario game since.
You could argue about Bowser's Fury. It's not a full game.
Yeah,
it's not a full
I knew immediately someone's going to bring up Bowser's Fury, but you know what I mean? Like, I thought we'd have another one by now, but we did, and that's the thing. There's not guarantees of that. They're not guarantees you're going to get like 2 Splatoon games like we got or 2 Xenoblades like we got. So my thing is just we're going to get new games and my favorite stuff all over again, and then you throw on top that they're going to have power they've never had before, and knowing what they were doing on Switch and how incredible those games were, knowing that Nintendo dropped a 3D Zelda game on hardware that is extremely dated last year that still was up for Game of the Year and didn't win it but took second place. Well, technically won the Japan one, but whatever. That is incredible. The fact that if Metroid Prime 4 Beyond would have came out this year, it probably would have been up for GOTY as well. So it's crazy.
Probably at the Golden Joystick Awards, though.
Yeah, not the Golden Joystick Awards. But I just look at this whole situation as kind of like a whole branch of brand new Nintendo games and their biggest IPs with more power than they've ever had before. And I know we talk about how Nintendo doesn't care about power. Did some of their developers care about power? And they do amazing things with the power they have.
They care about power. It's just there's other factors.
It's how they use it that makes me happy. Like, I love 60 FPS Zelda. I do not think the next 3D Zelda game is going to be 60 FPS. Because I think they're going to use the power for gameplay ideas.
Do you want to bet another hot chip challenge on that?
Will you actually put the hot chip and eat the whole chip?
No, because I'm not going to make that bet.
Well, you're the one that brought it up.
Because as a joke, I'm not going to actually do that.
You know, the funny thing is I tried to bet him the hot chip one other time on the show, and I brought it up, and he's like, nope. No, but now he brings it up, and he still backs off. See, don't
because it was a joke.
I don't joke with bets.
All right.
Bets are real for me. Just ask my audience. Do I fuck around with bets?
No. The other thing is, though, like I was betting
man.
The other thing is that I was gonna be cheap, be like, well, you know, the next Zelda game probably will be 60 frames per second because it won't be a full 3D Zelda. It'll be something else.
Oh, sure, yeah, like if it's a top down or
a remaster or something.
Yeah. That would have been a cop out. Oh, they brought Ocarina of Time back, and it's 60 FPS.
Hey, look, buddy, I bought you 2 hot chips for you. But you can have it with ranch this time.
I hate ranch. That would make me vomit.
Oh god,
I hate ranch.
Can I do it with my habanero?
Your habanero queso? Queso? Yeah. Sure, why not? You probably would have liked it.
Probably.
So, I'll say that you mentioned like returning franchises. I think what it gets me excited with new hardware. I think it does increase the chances of some other IP to return. Because you look at something like F-Zero, you look at something like Star Fox. Sure. I think one of the reasons why we haven't seen these IP recently is because it hasn't been easy for them to put together a concept that they think will do well for the series, right? But with better hardware, there's more options. Like there's concepts that they can pull off. Like you look at Breath of the Wild, they've been wanting to make Breath of the Wild for a long time. They didn't do it until they got to the Wii U because that's when the technology was at a point where they felt they could pull it off in a way that they thought made sense. So I get excited because I think there's a really, really high chance there will be a new F-Zero game for Switch 2. There will be a new Star Fox game for Switch 2. There will be a new Donkey Kong game for Switch 2. I'm willing to bet on that. Granted, I have like the entire Switch 2 generation to see that out, so it's kind of one of those things. Are we going to go back 8 years? Hey,
on a new DK game for a while. Maybe it shifted to Switch 2.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah,
I do believe that. Yeah, I literally do believe that.
The moment they announced Donkey Kong Returns HD for January, I'm like, oh, they shifted that thing to Switch 2.
Oh, they absolutely did. Yeah.
Which please tell me that means it's 3D. Please not side scrolling. Like, please say it's really ambitious, and that's why you shifted it. That'd be great. But I'm cool with the side scrolling one too, as long as it's really good.
Yeah, same.
So, Eric, what tickles your fancy the most? Hopefully,
clearly it's another hot chip.
Yeah, right. No, I'm looking at right now. My battery's dying pretty well on my Switch, so I was looking at replacements. So that might be, actually being able to play a game for more than an hour. It's kind of more of what I'm looking for right now. But no, just to see what new games, what third party brings to the Switch 2 is kind of what I'm excited about.
Okay. Cool. Game Junction, man.
Well, for me, I'm excited to see what third parties bring, obviously, to the Switch 2. I mean, there's a lot I'm looking for. It's really hard to narrow down exactly everything. There's a lot that I'm looking forward to. Super hyped. So, yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. We just have stash left, right?
I believe so.
All right, man.
Okay, so what I'm most excited about, I think it's got to be the same thing that I'm always excited about for a new Nintendo console. However, this one might be a little bit different because in the past, you're excited about new ways to play, right? We look at back during the Super Nintendo era and going to the 64, we're getting full 3D games. We're getting a joystick that was never on a controller before. We had the Rumble Pack. We had a lot of cool stuff, right? Then, we go to GameCube and we got this completely redesigned looking controller that was really cool. People still love the GameCube controller. I personally still love it.
Me too.
Especially for Smash Brothers. Pro controller is really good though too. I will give it that. But so then from GameCube we went to Wii. Again, completely changed the way we played. And so that was really exciting. Wii U could have been more exciting because it did give us a different way to play. But I think the Switch obviously took that idea to a whole different level as far as being able to play portably. With Switch 2, I don't know if I have a ton of excitement when it comes to new stuff in that vein, because I don't know if we're getting that. If we are, I think it's a bonus in my mind, because I'm more looking at it as this is going to be, Nintendo to Super Nintendo, except an even greater jump, right? This is going to be a huge graphical jump, power, performance, better screen, hopefully 4K docked, 1080p portable, like we've heard. I'm excited to see what obviously the DLSS is going to be able to do.
Yeah.
But everything I'm excited about all ties into one thing, and that's the games. Is how are they going to look on Switch 2? That's what's got me excited. It's got me excited that, like you guys have kind of mentioned, is that we get a reset, so to speak, on IP. For example, do I think we're going to get a Star Fox a Wave Race, a Pilot Wings, insert any old franchise that you care about, a Punch Out. Do I think I'm going to get any of these games on Switch 1? After the Switch 2 comes out? I mean, there's always a possibility, but I'm going to say probably not. But we have a new console coming out, and I feel like the odds are much better that we could get one of these new games. And I do believe that they've been slow rolling F-Zero with the F-Zero 99 to get people's excitement, and again, to introduce this.
Yeah.
Because people do not know this. People are not like us and the people that are hanging out with us in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there's people in the chat that are probably young and they've played the older games because they're huge fans of gaming, right? They're like the way we were when we were younger. And so for the mass majority, nobody knows what F-Zero is. They probably play Smash Brothers and have to go on Google and see who Captain Falcon is. I mean, most likely, that's most likely the case. However, I think Nintendo wants to change that. Like, hey, if we're going to bring back F-Zero, we got to set ourselves up for success. We have to reintroduce this game to people. And F-Zero 99 is a great way to do that because it will get people to, buy the NSO membership. Now, I'm not saying it's a huge selling point, but if people end up playing it and they like it, they might now have interest in the game. And that's a good way of doing it because it supports your online service as well. And it can help hopefully bridge those sales when and if F-Zero comes out. Which again, do I think it's logical that we get F-Zero GX remastered? Yes. Highly logical. We've got other GameCube games remastered. Why wouldn't we get this? Why would you bring F-Zero 99 and not bring out GX? Why are we getting F-Zero GP Legend and Maximum Velocity if you're not thinking about giving us an F-Zero remaster or a new F-Zero game? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of easy to connect the dots as far as being logical. But I think our standard logic doesn't always apply with Nintendo because they do things that surprise us, like release an alarm clock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
without an AC adapter.
Yeah, like our logic won't always work, but I think it can work in a lot of situations. And I think that overall, that's what gets me excited is just the chance that we might get one of these older franchises. Like, I'm a huge fan of Punch-Out. I'm a huge fan of the older games because I grew up with the NES. So would I love to see a new Punch-Out? Hell yeah. Kid Icarus? Yes. Wave Race? Yes. Pilot Wings? Yes. Star Fox? I want it all, man. I'd love to see it all. So this is a fresh opportunity to hopefully see that. And yeah, I'm excited about the third parties, see what they bring over. But in my mind, I feel like almost everything's coming over. That's where I'm at. And if that happens, that's fantastic. But nobody's ever bought a Nintendo console for the third-party games. They buy it for Nintendo's games, for their IP. And if you have all the third parties, that's awesome. And I would buy a lot of them on Switch 2, just as I did on Switch 1.
It also could expand the audience of people who don't care about Nintendo's games, but they just really want really high quality portable everything third party.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like the Switch 2 is going to be, everyone says there's so much competition now with all these handhelds with Nintendo.
Yeah.
But it's like the Switch is natively playing these games on a cartridge. It's not a cloud device. And I think there's something to be said for that because that's what's coming to the market is a lot of cloud stuff. And I did a study on this not too long ago for a different podcast. And I was looking at the amount of people that have good internet, not just in the US, but throughout the world. Those numbers are not where they need to be in order for cloud to take off, truly. So it's interesting. But again, that's just another selling point to me of Switch 2 and what's going to make it unique is that we don't have to worry about this cloud stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, I'm just very excited. I was talking with one of the guys in the chat, Brolin, but we were just kind of talking about the history of the lead ups, right, to console launches, and I was just kind of explaining that I've been following the rumor mill on the internet since the dawn of the internet, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really fun to follow the rumors and the hype and the lead up. And he was asking me if this is any different, the Switch 2 versus like in the past.
Yeah.
Like when Dolphin was first, out
Dolphin,
there.
Revolution.
Yeah, the Revolution was really exciting because when we were getting like information, and you remember when the info would trickle in, and the patents was a big deal back then because we're looking at patents for like accelerometers and shit. We're like, what is this going to be? Like, how does this work? Because it was new tech, like for all of us, and so that was really exciting. And there's just been a lot of different exciting times, but I think what makes this one different, undeniably, is that we're going on. It's going to be 8 years. It's going to be past 8 years when this comes out. In modern times. So obviously this is the longest gap of any Nintendo console. We passed that, I think it was in June.
Yeah, I think so.
But even bigger than that is that the longest gap was NES to Super. Okay? A lot of people were not born yet. Right? There's we didn't experience that the way we would today. I'm sure there's a lot of people in chat that weren't even born yet. So what I'm trying to say is in modern times, this is by far the longest gap.
Yeah.
Hands down. Hands down. Because it's historically the longest now. But if you just look at the last 25, 30 years, this is by far the longest. So not counting that going from 64 to today, this is the longest by 3 years. So the lead up to this has been wild between that and the way social media has changed since even the Wii U era. Hence why, we probably could never have, what was it called on Wii U? The Miiverse where you could draw stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. We probably never have that on Switch too. Too much has changed in the world. Can't be trusted.
All right. Let's get into the Q&A here. We have some stuff queued up here. We have let's see, Sam Talks Games. By the way, if anyone wants to get questions in, now's the time. $2 and up super chats, or use your member chats if you happen to be a member. My channel or anyone else's channel who's co-streaming this, because that stuff comes through on my end as well for us to share. I wonder, do you guys ever think about ranking your favorite games or where they fall? I don't really think about it except when people ask me.
Yeah.
It's not something I like just as an individual. Unless I'm making a video or someone asks me about it, it's not something I ever think to do.
Yeah.
I always know, I have my favorite game, and then, there's a couple because Secret of Mana was my favorite game for so long that it's actually easy for me to keep track of some of my top favorites. But I don't really. I think the last time that I seriously did actual serious rankings of anything was back at Zelda Informer. I made a list where I ranked every single Zelda game, and that took me 2 months to put that thing together. Because when I'm going to make serious rankings, not off the cusp, if you just ask my top 5 games right now, it might be different than what I say a month from now. Because I'm not putting a ton of serious thought into it like I did there. I went back and replayed a bunch and took notes, and it was really hard to rank the whole series. But So yeah, I don't actually ever think about it unless people bring it up.
Yeah, I don't really think about it either.
Yeah, I never think about it unless, again, if I get asked. But I look at it, it's like someone asking me, who's your favorite family members or your favorite employee. It's like I don't have a favorite one, man, at all. I don't. And again, I'd say I don't even think about that.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I had someone ask, what is it? A friend of mine asked me one time, like, dude, who's your favorite family member? I'm like, I never thought about it. You're making me think about it, and I'm feeling real guilty right now about the thoughts crossing my mind. I don't want to think about this kind of stuff, but sure, I think deep down we all have some things that we prefer in certain family members. But it's like I don't want to think about it like that. You're making me now pit family members in my mind against each other. This is getting messed up. It's like asking me my favorite kid. Like, there probably is an answer in there, but I don't want to ever say it out loud because I will feel like a piece of shit.
It's gonna be a Smash Bros. family member edition.
So I'm just like, nope. We just don't go there in my mind. Don't make them, but like they did, and I was like, oh shit. I think I just blurted out the only answer I thought that I might get away with. I don't know, my right hand, and then I'm like, oh shit. I just said I prefer my right hand over every person in my family. That's also a bad answer.
Yep.
Damn it.
Whoops.
Anyways, no. So I don't think any of us ever really think about it. Do you understand about it?
Not lately. I kind of just enjoy games, and
yeah, I think that's what most people do.
I think what happens is when I was younger, I definitely did.
Sure.
I definitely did because it was kind of part of the there's a lot that went into that. Like I remember like the cafeteria arguments. Oh, PS2 has better graphics than GameCube, and I'd be like, that's factually incorrect, but back then it didn't matter. Like people still believe that to this day that PS2 is more powerful than GameCube. It would always.
Dude, it's insane. Really, yeah, like we already know definitively that wasn't true, but
it would grind my gears not because I was a Nintendo fan per se, but because it was just factually incorrect.
Yeah,
and everyone believed it. But when you would have arguments like that, you would put more. You would want to say, "Oh, this is the best game ever." Like you want to say certain things with more confidence to win arguments. Like I was a little kid, but
yeah.
Back then, I didn't have as many games I had played.
Why do I have Resident Evil 4 and not you?
Right. But it was easier for me to say back when I had only played N64 and GameCube, my top 5 favorite games. Right. It's not that at this point it's so hard because that's just focusing on Zelda. I could say, oh yeah, Breath of the Wild is my favorite game, but I don't know. Ocarina of Time had a significant impact on me, right?
It's a huge debate just with franchises, let alone.
Yeah. I think it's like a debate between Breath and Tears because Tears objectively just has a lot more, right? It has everything Breath has and then more, right? So it's how do you rank Breath better than Tears? But then some people do.
And there's the impact though that Breath has that Tears could never have.
Right. But then
the initial walkout sequence, the first time you climb and glide, it's like Tears can't give you that first time thing.
The other thing though is that there are just I'm at a point where it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter.
Anyone who games long enough.
It's a good game. I like it. It makes me happy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's it. Maybe I'll come back to it someday. And it's like that for movies and animes for me too, right? I could people ask one of my favorite animes. I could probably list off 20 animes that I love, and maybe I won't watch them for 3 years. I'll come back and I'll rewatch it and I'll enjoy it again.
Yeah.
And it's not for right now I'm watching through Fairy Tail again and I love it. I'm oh, this is why I love Fairy Tail. It's so good, And if you ask me now, what's my favorite anime? I guess technically right now it's Fairy Tail. But what's going to happen next month once I'm done binging Fairy Tail? I'm going to watch something else. And at that point in time, that's going to be the anime on my mind.
Yeah.
It's like that with games or whatever else.
Sure.
God dang it. Now I got to go back and watch Full Metal Alchemist.
Brotherhood?
Either one.
Okay.
I like them both.
Sure.
There we go. Next up, we got $5 super chat in from Christian's second account. I still don't know what you did with your first one. Just want to tell everyone in Florida to stay safe during the storm. I'm in St. Augustine, Florida, so thankfully not too bad for us. Love you guys. Yeah, I think things are supposed to start hitting landfall tonight at some point.
I'm in Miami.
Yeah. So at some point it's supposed to hit. Maybe it already started. I don't know. But obviously thoughts go out.
Yeah, it did. As the show was starting, it was getting windy. Like I had a ladder that was out in the back and it fell down. It was a really loud noise. I didn't know what it was. I was worried. It was just the ladder. But the ladder actually fell pretty close to the sliding door, like the glass. It could have been bad.
Bad, yeah. Got lucky, yeah. But it's one of those things that I hope everyone stays safe. I know, just like the last one, there will be people that unfortunately do die, and I feel for all you guys, especially for the ones that can't evacuate. There's ones that could evacuate but chose to stay. I don't necessarily always feel as bad for them because that was a choice. But the people that don't have that choice, that's who I always feel the worst for when stuff happens like this. So hopefully it's minimal. I don't even know what minimal is, but hopefully it's minimal. Next up, Taurus comes in for $5 saying, anyone sign up for the Nintendo closed playtest tomorrow? You can't sign up for it yet. Or anyone signing up for it. Well, I'm going to try. Are all you guys going to try? I think all of us will probably be.
Yeah, definitely.
Try.
Yeah, I mean, it's very limited, and it's going to be probably a really slow website, and it's first come, first serve. So it's a bloodbath.
I'm pretty sure I'm in a meeting, so probably
I'm going to ping Jake Randall and try to get all the tips I can to try to make sure I'm one of the first in line to get in, because I just want to try it out, whatever this is, like, and especially since I know it's just going to leak out and be public anyways, then I would like to be able to go pretty in depth if I went hands on, because it guarantee you it'll be a topic on the podcast one of those 2 weeks, because someone's going to record everything and put it online. So, and besides, Nintendo's just asking, can you please not share? But if you do, whatever.
It's not like we're gonna sue you for it.
No, it's one of those it's one of those I just don't think they can legally ask because it's a public thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, hey, we don't want you to share it, but if you do, Flipping the Switch became a member, by the way. Shout out to Flipping the Switch double time, because Flipping the Switch originally gifted 5 members and then became a member right after. So thank you so much, Flipping the Switch. I appreciate the support.
Thank you.
Supporting the show, supporting what we do. Boo Mini comes in with the $5 saying, spoiler-free comment. There's a small section north of Hyrule that is green. The most beautiful music plays in that area.
Yeah.
Don't know. I haven't been there yet.
No comment.
I'm looking forward to it. If there's some very beautiful music there. That's green. I love how spoiler-free is. It's an area north that's green.
Yeah, that's a great
comment. Oh, how dare you! Now I know something green is up north. I can't.
Oh man,
the game is literally unplayable now.
In the east,
in the south.
No. Why is there green to the north?
Yeah, right.
You're telling me there's grass?
Oh, no.
Don't do grass to me. Grass and trees not allowed. Wait, I see. Now I'm making assumptions. I'm too detailed. I don't even know what we're talking about. I haven't been there yet. Thank you so much, Movie. We got Chris Gonzalez giving for $5. Says, just caught up, man. I'm dying. Eric deserves the whole super chat. I know I showed this earlier, but he's gangster, man. Dude, Eric, I'm gonna say now that I'm obviously calmed down. You guys see, I'm drinking even a soda. Even my stomach hurts just a little bit, but it's nothing bad. Maybe I should have had a little bit bigger dinner meal. That's okay.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's what it was. It just wasn't quite enough dinner. But I haven't had any inkling to have to run to the bathroom or I'm fine. I will say I've had spicier. I think the Da Bomb hot sauce might have been worse the first time I did it. Now I've done the Da Bomb 3 times, but I think it was worse the first time. Just the taste so nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's pure heat, but it just tastes gross. Like the chip didn't taste terrible. It just was hot. Obviously, it was painful. I'm not gonna lie that it wasn't painful, but I've done enough spicy stuff to know that that's temporary. That pain will go away, and it did. But look, Eric's a champ with spice. He always has. But we used to go back and forth when we were younger. But we realized a long time ago that he's better with it than me. But I can still do everything that he does.
Oh yeah.
He just handles it better.
Mhm.
But anyways, I'm happy with myself. I made it to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm a legend. I made it. Cool. That also means that, like, hey, now that I did that and I don't plan to ever do it again, well, then again, I will. If Andres Restart ever wants to make a serious hot chip bet where he's actually going to have the full chip, I'll do it then.
Nope.
But he's like, nope. But that also means there's other hot challenges out there.
I would have to.
There's the world's hottest sucker. I don't even know how to do that.
There would have to be something.
I don't even know. I don't know.
Well, like it would have to be kind of like something like that argument I had with Jake, where I was really like impassioned about, the future of certain Nintendo franchises, and he was like, "Nah, fam, that's not happening." Like maybe in the heat of the moment, I'm like, "Yeah, you know what?
Like
you're wrong.
You're wrong. We're putting a chip on this now. Hot chip now." Bet no.
I got to be really heated about it. I gotta feel like I need to make like a bold statement.
All right, so we gotta, guys. You're here now. When you're on his live streams, push his buttons. Push the button.
That. I'll just stop live streaming.
Push the buttons with money. There you go.
Oh.
Super chatted, and then he can't get mad.
Then I'll just be confused.
Then he'll be confused. So you're supporting me and you're pissing me off?
Yeah.
Well, shit, keep pissing me off then for money if that's what you want. But you want to do a hot chip on the show? They're coming in calling you the $20 super chats, just start spamming your next stream, calling you a pussy for not eating the chip. Like, you know what, motherfuckers?
I never agreed to eat it.
Still not eating the chip, but thanks for the money.
I paid money for something I didn't make a bet on to join you and try it, and I did that and suffered a little bit without having made a bet.
You gave yourself a smidge of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me says something for someone who didn't have to do it. You only felt like, oh, maybe I should do it because, hey, I was like really pushing the 19th hard, even though I didn't.
It wasn't a bet.
I didn't bet prediction. But it's like, yeah, but I did push it hard. I made the bet back in August. So, all right. Eric is always the spice lord around here. By the way, Eric talked a lot on this show. Turns out we just need to give him spicy shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Get Eric going.
Lights him up,
man.
Word.
That and smelling salts. We're good to go. Eric will be alive the whole show. Demonic Brawler does $5. What if it's online link cable Pokemon Classic games on NSO with full trig? Yeah, that's what they're testing.
I wish.
That'd be cool.
That's something. Would be interesting.
Hell yeah.
I mean, just the idea of getting Pokemon games on NSO would be nice. Like mainline ones. I don't know why they just won't do it. It's not like we're not going to buy the re-releases because we clearly are. The Nintenbyte Secret Santa. We looked at that one earlier. And then this was a new one that just came up from Tommy G for $5. So what are your current impressions of the Switch successor reveal? I don't think you asked for impressions of the reveal because that wasn't revealed. But the rest of your statement says all hopes for tomorrow dead is October 24th or 2025. So you're asking about like the reveal, like when do we think it's going to happen? Look, all hopes are not dead for tomorrow because we don't know what Furukawa's going to do. They didn't pre-announce they were dropping the Alarmo today, but then today they pre-announced they were taking signups tomorrow for something that's happening on the 23rd. We just don't know.
Mm-hmm. Nintendo's doing a lot of weird things lately.
Mm-hmm. They're not even tweeting at their normal times anymore.
No, it was yeah.
So Nintendo right now, and someone's been tracking this. I think over on Family Boards, like how random their tweets started becoming. Like 3 weeks ago, they stopped going. They used to be pretty scheduled. They used to be like 8 or 9 a.m. and 10, and then like 5, and then 8 p.m. for an NSO update. And then they just stopped doing that. And I think there's a huge running theory being that Nintendo's intentionally creating chaos so no one can predict when they're going to drop the big announcement, which could be possible. Like you can't predict what they're going to do and when they're going to do it. And that could be exactly what Nintendo wants, just to keep people on their toes. Or they just don't care. I don't know. Because it is weird because they've been very consistent with their social media posts for years. And all of a sudden, nowhere, we don't know what the fuck's going on. So I can't rule out tomorrow until tomorrow's over. I think that's true of like any day. We can't rule out any day until it's over.
Except Saturday.
Yeah, you would assume not Saturday, but
Sunday's on the table because we've
half the
seen them
day-
make announcements on Sundays at least.
and the second half of the day, it's actually Monday in Japan.
Well, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Saturday though, no.
Saturday's usually off the table.
God.
But Nintendo has done announcements on Friday. They've done announcements on pretty much every other day of the week at some point in company history. So
Yeah.
we can't rule out tomorrow until tomorrow's over. If it's a shadow drop announcement, cool. It could be an announcement for a Friday announcement. Like that could be a thing. So I said if we got past the week after the fourth week the week after Mario Party drops, if we got past that week and it wasn't announced, that personally I'm kind of on the bandwagon of it's 2025. I'll finally give up on 2024. The only thing that's really even keeping me holding on at this point is how confident Brazil is that despite all this stuff that keeps happening, it's this year. And there is one caveat where maybe I shouldn't give up on the week of Halloween so much, and that is that Nintendo has an investors meeting on November 5th.
It's also my birthday.
Well, that's not okay.
It's also the day
Nintendo
that
would absolutely reward me. By not
Reward
this
you personally.
Yep.
They're revealing it on November.
well, hey, they announced on my birthday, May 7th,
Oh,
that they would be doing it this fiscal year. So this aligns, and it's the day that Doc and Marty went back to the future, November 5th.
makes a lot of sense, to be honest with you.
But here's the thing: this is their
Yes.
first general Q&A that they will have at an investors meeting since they made that announcement back in May. The last Q&A they had, that was their general shareholders meeting where they did all the voting for like who's going to have what roles at Nintendo. This is the first investors meeting Q&A they're going to have since they made that May announcement about it being revealed, which means that they're going to get a lot of Switch 2 questions anyways. And I think it's a lot easier to deal with those questions if you already have it announced, because it'll already answer most of them. They can just refer back to their announcement, go to our announcement, go to our official statements. Because right now, even let's say nothing happens, there's no direct, there's no announcement, investors are going to have some pretty nervous questions for Nintendo because there's nothing scheduled past January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
agree.
what's the stock going to do after January, buddy? Like, we don't have any games. Like, there's 2 games scheduled for later sometime in 2025, not February or March. What's happening? What's your plan to hit 13.5 if we're done with games in January? So there is a statement. By the way, there could be a direct, and it might not have nothing to do with Switch 2. It could be.
That would be fun.
A general director of Mini would be great either way, even if it doesn't have to do with Switch 2. But sticking to the Switch 2 stuff, like I do, because of the November 5th thing, I'm kind of like, oh, man, I really shouldn't say it's over for 2025 till we get to November 5th and it doesn't happen. And then I'll be like, all right, if they're not going to do it the day of the investors meeting, then I'm out. I'm out till 2025.
Yeah.
But again, I just have this thing where, and maybe you guys think I'm crazy, but I have like this irrational trust in Brazil at the moment. And I say irrational not because he hasn't gotten things correct, but like he technically doesn't know either. And he said he doesn't know. It's just based on, everything he was told earlier this year, nothing's changed.
Well, I mean,
which means coming out in March, because that's what he said earlier this year. So it's like,
I mean, if you want to dive a little bit deeper into that, we do have other reports that suggest it's not coming out in March.
yes,
And
he didn't back off.
No.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
and by the way, I do believe he's legit and has real sources, but I do think his sources are third-party companies, and that's why he doesn't know exact dates. And third-party companies aren't always necessarily the ones most up to date.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know.
So, obviously I want the Switch to announce as soon as possible, but I think the fact of the matter is the jury's still out. Like, there are people who are going to pick sides. There are people who are going to say, oh, no, we already know for a fact it's not. Well, we don't know for a fact anything, really. like until Nintendo announces what their plans are for the beginning of next year, we have no idea what they're doing, really. Oh, we have ideas. We don't know is what I'm really trying to say. Because we don't have a February published game. We don't have a March published game. And typically we know about those games at this point in the year. We do not. No matter how you spin it, it's weird. And until we know what those plans are, it's jury's still out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want to do affect holiday sales, I get it. But this is just one of those things that Nintendo...
They still need to make a February and March game announcement,
Yeah,
which also could impact holiday sales.
regardless.
I mean, yeah.
So I just think that the only thing we know definitively is by the end of March, something's being said, an announcement's being made. We assume that announcements are revealed, but something's being said. And I just think that if you look at Nintendo's current lineup, just right now, what's coming in the future, Zelda's behind us. There's not the biggest games are the games without dates that come randomly at some point next year. Like at some point they got to get over that hump, and I think most people believe over that hump is the Switch 2, and that's why we don't know more. Like, why don't we know about something in February and March? Switch 2. So like that is the obvious thing, but it's obvious because Nintendo said they're saying something by the end of March. So I just think Nintendo's in a no matter what they do, they win situation. They don't have to rush this announcement out the door. They can wait till next year. That's the thing. Like they could not launch just a holiday next year. Nintendo would probably still be fine. It's just we want them to come sooner because we know that once it's announced, almost everything's going to get held for it.
What do we think about the Joy-Con charging station going on sale on October 17th? I feel like people forgot about that, and that might tie into something Switch 2 related. I think charge your Joy-Cons.
So I did a video back when they announced it, and I said, like,
yeah,
if this was just a Mario Party thing, because it's released the same day as Mario Party, well, this is our third Mario Party game, so we could have had this come out years ago. This is a very late in the gen. Why would they release this now?
Exactly.
And a lot of people were saying, well, if the Joy-Con are compatible with Switch 2, or they're compatible but you can't slide them on, that you need a way to charge them, especially when you have NSO controllers.
Yeah.
With the rail system, and that rail system is not on the new system, people might still want to use them, so you got to have a way to charge them officially, not just third party.
Yep.
So that's why you release it. I think timing it with Jamboree is just they think that might be a way to increase a few sales day one, because otherwise they just drop it on like a random Monday. You know, who's going to rush out to the store to buy it? But if you see a new accessory launch alongside a game, could potentially nab a couple purchases there. But I think the play for that is Switch 2. But I don't know that means they have to announce Switch 2 before it comes out. I think it's one of those that when they announce it, they can when that issue comes up. Like if they announce it and then an investor asks them, well, hey, what about all these controllers people already bought? Oh, well, did you know back on October 17th we launched the blah, blah, blah thing. They can charge your controllers. So I think it's more of a solving a problem before people are aware that, like, officially that it's a problem.
No, I agree. Yeah. That's why I'm just curious if Switch 2 will be announced anytime soon, before or after. If this has any connection to it, and I gotta wonder: is this good? Do we know if it's going to be sold in stores, or if it's going to be a Nintendo store item?
That I don't know.
Just the overall the physical space is shrinking, as we know, for games, physical items. Nintendo still has a good presence, but even their area seems smaller than it has been in past years. And I'm just curious, like, that's something they're going to have in the stores, or if you got to buy it directly from them.
Yeah, because you can get it on the My Nintendo store. And I wonder if they just launch it as a My Nintendo store thing, but then when Switch 2 comes out, then you can buy it in Walmart and other places.
Yeah, I do wonder that. Yeah.
Because I think they know the demand would be pretty low until people really truly have a reason to buy it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you make it available. You can, it's a Mario Party thing, but we're just solving a problem, and then they just say, it'll be available at retail day one of Switch 2, and then they can just sell a shitload of them. The day Switch 2 gets launched, especially because of the NSO controller. I think that's like the big one, is because they had a way to charge. They had a Joy-Con charging stand already. They already had an official one. You could charge 4 Joy-Cons, but you can't charge your NSO controllers on it.
Right.
So that's like the primary purpose of this one, is it does all of them. So, yeah, I could definitely see that being a thing.
What's the date for that one again?
17.
The 17th. Okay. So
It's a Thursday.
Yeah.
I think I want to grab that if, it charges all of them.
Yeah. I just think that this is I don't think anyone on this show has given up on this year, right? Has anyone given up?
No,
Nah.
Oh,
not
I
a
gave
quitter.
up. I gave up so many. I gave up on everything.
Well, now you just sound depressed. You need did the hot chip ruin you? Sorry, man.
No, I'm fine. It's getting revealed soon.
Yeah. Like I think so too. I think there's just a lot of signs, but again, it is one of those. If we get past the investors meeting and it hasn't been, then I'll just be like, okay, Nintendo's just going to kind of let it fly for this holiday. We'll hear something in January or February. But that's the thing. To me, it's always it's just I keep going back to Brazil and how confident he is. I go back to Paul Gale hearing that commercial, which I need to talk to him still to see if the commercial he heard about is just like Nate the Hate, and it's not.
I asked Paul Gale.
Did
He
you?
told me it was a possibility that
Okay.
it's.
He doesn't
My
have details on the commercial.
he didn't really give me specific details, but I think part of it is that he's being cautious. This is my interpretation, right? And you look at his tweet, it's talk of a next generation console. So
Yeah.
I guess the question is, did someone make a mental leap of interpretation because Nintendo filmed the trailer? Because based off the initial tweet he made, it was talk of new hardware, and I'd be very surprised if someone saw that set and somehow thought that was Switch 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Same.
it'd be a bed set with.
Right. I mean, you
with
can play your Switch in a
dummy
bed,
alarm
right,
clock
but
or something like
but there's no tablets. Exactly. Right?
yeah,
So,
no TV on the set. Yeah.
I guess the question is, how much did Paul hear? Did he just hear,
that a commercial was shot for a new Nintendo device.
right? Or did he hear, a commercial was shot for a next generation
Yeah, it was like
console?
specific.
Well, let me ask you guys: can we say that there's a distinction between a commercial and a trailer? Because I think they're different. And to me, this is a trailer. This is not a commercial.
5-minute thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
this is an announcement trailer. It doesn't feel like
Yeah. It's not an ad they're gonna run on TV. They
No.
might run it on YouTube, but like for TV, they wouldn't run it on TV.
I mean, commercial trailer. I mean, the point is that what was filmed was in the same format as the NX first look.
Sure, and that was also like a 4-minute thing. And again, people were equating what, because Nate the Hate heard something similar around the same time period, and he said what he heard is definitely not the clock. So we already have one insider being like, well, the thing I was told, which again, he's waiting on that game trailer to really make him feel confident, which he's not abandoning this person either, because whatever game trailer he's waiting on to confirm something clearly is a game trailer that's not like a time sensitive, has to happen right now kind of thing, or he would have already abandoned all this. But it's always like, okay, did Paul Gale hear more? Did Paul Gale now reach out today to his contact to be like, hey, get clarification? I have no idea. And maybe he'll say something about it on the podcast that he's on Friday over on Mike's channel. But I just find this all really, really interesting because look, we had the topic earlier today. We talked about, our favorite, thing that we're looking forward to with the system. And we kind of stayed away from the reveal stuff because the reveal is what everyone's talking about. Because the other stuff is hard to talk about when the reveal hasn't happened.
Right.
Because we're guessing something. We know this thing is coming because Nintendo told us officially. But speculating on everything that's going to be on it and how excited we are for it when we haven't seen it is just, and maybe we saw a prototype supposedly, but it's tough. So I'm not done with 2024. I don't think anyone here is, but I don't think any of us are also ruling out that it could be 2025 because Nintendo gave us the window.
We still got to ask about all those developers that went to Nintendo 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, lots of reports on
people was there media people or is it just developers?
They went for Alarmo, don't you know?
Well, obviously they didn't. I mean, that was my thing too. Is they didn't go for this.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, why would they have to go for Alarmo?
There's no way in out. Yeah, you know what I mean.
The opinion on a thing you can't put anything on. Have a good day.
I mean, even mentioned it before, but even Limited Run CEO was there. Josh, he's not to my knowledge, he's not a currently developing games. He's not a game developer. I know they have a development sector at Limited Run now, but
he's like the top. He's the top dog at the whole company, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I just look at that too, and it's like there's why bring everybody in if you're going to? How many weeks ago was that? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay. So why bring everyone in if you're not going to say anything about the console until at least 4 months later in January 2025? If you showed them Switch 2, which again, why are they all going there? I can only believe that that's probably what it is. It's something with Switch 2, but you expect them to sit on that secret for, I mean, honestly, if they do it in 2025, I don't think it's going to be in January. I think it's much more likely in February. January is the worst month ever to talk about buying anything.
Yeah, unless it's
horrible.
The number already announced. Yeah,
the numbers are horrible for January with everything in retail.
Yeah, it'd be February or March.
Yeah, so you're telling me you brought all these people over here to tell them about Switch 2 and show it to them in September 2024. And I need you to keep a secret until February or March even, but February 2025? I don't know about that. That seems pretty far-fetched, right?
Now, my thing is why would you bring the indie devs in if you're not announcing it anytime soon?
Exactly.
Because the indie devs are the ones that you'd probably have the hardest trust with because, they got nothing really on the line. What are you going to do?
Yeah, and again,
you're going to tell them, boo on you, we're going to make you wait to have a dev kit. I don't have a dev kit anyways. Obviously the incentive is you don't want to piss off the platform holder, and I get it. And they can block your games from being on there, but they're not going to tell Limited Run you're not bringing stuff on. If other people at Limited Run know besides the CEO. So I do agree that it feels like it is this year, but again, the only official statement from Nintendo is this fiscal year. So I'm not ruling out 2025. There's actually more days now in 2025 that it could be than there is left in 2024. But I think all of us are pretty much did you guys all think it's basically revealed by November 5th? It's the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if they're going to let it. Do you guys think they would really reveal it deeper into November around holiday sales?
I think, I mean, I'll be frank. I have a fear that it's not announced until
I think, as a content
February or March.
I'm afraid.
I have a fear. So
that it won't be revealed till March?
Yeah, it's a fear. It's not a, I think,
is that fear because you're a content creator and
I'm just too biased at this point, right?
Yeah. So just eliminate content creator mind.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, I logically thought September 19th was the most likely date.
Sure.
But
a lot of people did.
But also that entire time, I still acknowledged October as a completely viable window.
Yep.
And so until October ends.
Yeah, because it didn't have to be beginning of October. It didn't have to.
Yeah, I mean, if we really want to dive a little bit deeper on it, I think there's a little bit of optimism about it happening sooner. And the reason why I predicted sooner was because of the direct movement and things of that nature. And so looking at how they handled Switch 1 October 20th, if we're thinking that they're going to have a larger window here, and maybe they don't even release in March, but April, should we really be predicting the reveal to happen? Well, that was also part of the reason why I predicted September, because I thought they might have a longer reveal to release window because they're trying to get more supply.
Yep.
Ready.
Yep.
But if we're looking at something comparable, then and maybe if the console's maybe not coming out until April or later, right, as some articles have suggested, then predicting before October 20th is,
weird,
a little optimistic. But October 20th is when the Switch 1 trailer happens. So, I feel like if that date hasn't happened yet, that we want to use that as kind of like the pattern for what to expect, that we shouldn't freak out until that time passes.
Yeah. And I know, like, if you guys ever, anyone out there ever follows Family Wars who stays on top of literally any morsel of anything Switch 2, they, even before this week began, like, the general feeling over there is that the reveal is towards the end of this month. And it's because when you look at prior reveals, they were always pretty close to investor meetings. So having a shorter reveal to investors meeting because investors want to ask questions right away. So like even when I said I don't think it would be Halloween week, well, it could be Halloween week. It just won't be Halloween. I don't think they're going to drop it on the holiday, but all the other days that week, so and technically it could be all the way up to November 5th. I mean, it could be any day. Here's the thing, we don't know. Furukawa, Nintendo has intentionally made themselves unpredictable. I do believe this, based on how they've been handling all these announcements, what they did in August, packing 3 different presentations in 2 weeks. Nintendo is very obviously intentionally being unpredictable. Mm-hmm. I think they're doing that so no one can figure it out. Why they would care if anyone figured it out, that's a whole different story. But they're being very unpredictable all the time. So there's either they don't have a consistent schedule or this is a master plan.
Oh, so to be a little bit more negative, there isn't I'll just say that how sometimes we have reason to think something's about to happen because of certain people talking.
Sure.
That's not going on right now.
No. The only thing out there is Brazil again reaffirming today.
But here's the other thing. When I say that, right? When I say that, these things have quick turnarounds. We could start hearing talk tomorrow or Friday, and it happens next week, or the week after.
The 2 people that people rely on the most, they hate in Brazil, have both said they're not going to even hint at when, if they knew.
I'll also say another thing. Going back to the June Direct, I thought Nintendo did a really good job of surprising everyone.
Yep.
So, that could just be their agenda right now, and maybe no one really knows that much because Nintendo is
being Nintendo right now.
They're trying to be more Nintendo than
I literally think this is all part of the plan. Furukawa wants to confuse everyone, have no one know what's going on, and drop things when you least expect it. I think they have a planned reveal date, obviously, but they're just going to make people keep guessing because it keeps it going. And and maybe he's noticed that there's this weird thing with Nintendo and the way marketing works and how trending works on social media and how if you catch people off guard, it gets more attention. Joycey J has our final super chat saying, "I demand weekly hot wings and dancing girls for Eric." All right. Well, I could take care of the hot wings. I'm not sure about the dancing women. Yulia might strangle me, but Joycey, if you want to get on top of that, I'll put up a barrier between us, and he can have all the dancing women on his side of the desk. He can have. I already have a barrier right here. I'll just move it, and Eric can have all the dancing women he wants. I'll even install a pole for him if we gotta. Eric, you don't get a chair anymore. You get a pole.
Oh, God, no.
Well, are you gonna complain with the dancing women?
No, I just want to sit on it.
Well, won't be that kind of pole.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, all right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you guys so much for all your questions. They're great as always. Obviously, when someone asks a reveal question, that always basically becomes a whole other topic. Mm-hmm. But thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks, Andres Restar, for coming back after a long
Heck yeah.
hiatus. Hopefully, it's
Good to
not
see
as
you.
long to get him on another episode. I'm sure, especially if the reveal happens in the next month, he'll want to hop on one of these episodes, anyways, just to talk about all the craziness. You guys can go check out he's got like a pseudo podcast he does as well. Like every week, isn't it? Like Mondays or Tuesdays? I don't even know. Is it just random now?
The Pseudo Udo Cast, actually, that might be a good name.
Yeah, well, you don't really use a name for it anymore. So
No, I just because
but it is a podcast for all intents and purposes.
essentially.
Yeah, you have someone besides yourself also talking.
Well, that's sometimes why there have been times when it's just me.
Yeah, it's been you. There's been what was this?
Well, lately it's been pretty consistent. Paul Gale was on the show last week. I have another guest lined up for next week.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yeah.
So you guys absolutely go check out his show. I know I'm live streaming at the same time usually, but hey, don't worry about it. Go check out his show. Come check out mine after. I'm probably still streaming when he's done. And then yeah, that's all I'm going to say just for that. Do you guys have any content you want to tease? Anything coming up?
I've got, of course, the Zelda review coming up sometime soon. But before that, I've got a PSVR 2 video about to drop. So that's for this week. And yeah, keep an eye out for the Zelda review. And of course, I got the Game Junction podcast live every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we also have our anime podcast that launches at noon every Sunday Eastern Standard Time. So
there you guys go. Sure, you go check out his channel. We got links to this stuff down in the description. Stash, you got anything coming up? Now you got your Echoes review out. So what's next?
Yeah, Echoes review is out. Next up is Silent Hill 2. And then tomorrow we'll be picking up Metaphor Refantasio. So I'm going to play through Silent Hill, of course, first, because Metaphor, if you guys have heard,
it's going
to be at least an 80-hour game.
It's a beast.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that one. I'll be starting that as well.
There's a lot of games. Like, you guys know the release calendar.
It's just
October is just absolutely nuts. And basically from here until December 9th, when the last game comes out for the year, pretty much, which is Indiana Jones that I want to play. Yeah, it's just nonstop. So yeah, just keep an eye. There will be reviews coming up all the time.
All right. Yeah. Go check out Thunderstash Gaming. I don't know what's going on. I didn't even get a video out today, but I was in like 3 different meetings today. So things happen. But we'll be back tomorrow. I have a pretty good idea of what my video might be tomorrow, but I'm a news channel. So news comes, news happens. I know I say I'm a news channel. And we had 2 breaking news stories for Nintendo and didn't talk about them today besides the podcast. I'm so sorry. That was not my plan. I was supposed to get them out and I just didn't. But they'll probably come up in tomorrow's video, but that's not that won't be the main topic of the video, but I'll make sure to remind people that those things happened. All right. That's going to do it for episode 24 of the Nintenbyte Podcast. We'll be back same time next week. Do we have any special guests next week? We have, yes, we do. For the first time ever, actually, never on a prior episode of the Nintendo Prime Podcast, we have the Geek Apprentice coming on.
Oh.
Yeah, for those who know who she is, a lot of people know her back when she used to do Game Over Jesse's podcast, but she has a YouTube channel, and she's coming on next week, first time ever, and she reached out on her own. I didn't even have to reach out to her, so that was awesome.
Awesome.
By the way, all you guys out there, all you content creators out there, you want to come on the show, reach out to me. I don't always know all you guys, or I presume there's no interest sometimes. So that's
sometimes you just got to reach out. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, look at who are 2 new co-hosts of the show. We got Game Junction, Thunderstash. I don't care about size of channels. I care about the energy you bring and the conversation.
That's what it's all about.
All right, guys. Catch you.